don't even know my intro. Okay, hold on. And then you'll keep monitoring.
Yes.
Mira, hasta el topo se cayó. Empezó de que testing 1, 2, 3. But it's okay, we're gonna explode on him or something. Alright. Hi guys, welcome back to the Promise Podcast. I'm Les, I'm your host, and I have my client here that she's been here for a really long time with me, a few years now, and her story is pretty crazy. And I just thought that it'd be nice for her to come in and do her lashes and just have a casual appointment. I'm nervous. I think she's nervous. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
All right. So I'm gonna start with telling you guys what I'm gonna do to her. I'm gonna. They're gonna be like, "¿Qué le vas a hacer?"
Yes. Hopefully it's lashes.
It's just lashes, guys. Okay, so we usually do a classic on her. We do her longest 16. She has a lot of natural lashes, so a classic is perfect. Remember when we started doing volume?
Volume, I know.
Really cool, huh?
Yeah.
And then how did you end up like wanting to choose classic?
Girl, I got older. You start getting older and you're like, you know what? Like I like it helped me not to wear a lot of makeup and, look more like woken up, but not dramatic either. Cause you start getting to that mature age. So
yeah, honestly, I feel like we're not too far off in age. I'm not going to say your age in case you don't want me to.
I don't mind.
Too off in age. But I'm starting to like that more natural soft look.
Yeah, me too. Even like makeup wise, and I think every trend, trends change too.
That's true.
And like I think it started to get more like natural. And I haven't been a big fan of makeup anyway. So when I would do more volume, it's like I kind of had to do more makeup.
Yeah, and I feel like the fuller makes our eyes look a little heavier, and more like droopy, especially in like videos and pictures.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then if they catch you the bad like angle, you look like you're half asleep or drunk.
Or high or off something.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I think classics look really good on you. So yeah, we usually do classic longest 16s. We do open eye for her, and she has a lot of natural lashes, and they honestly end up looking kind of like a wet look almost. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a fill on her. Yeah, I feel like, ahorita que vea con el tape, I think maybe a fill.
Yeah, I did get wet a little bit, so I don't know how much they survived.
I think they're good. Oh yeah, how was your trip?
I know. You have to see my tan.
Did you like it?
Yeah, we loved it. This is my third time there, but my kid's second time.
Oh, you already went.
I had gone, so they kind of liked it a lot to go back.
Yeah, they want to go back. You know what? I got like a really bad ¿cómo se dice? Fama de DR.
Really?
Because of, I don't know if you saw, like, there was a point that tourists were going, I think they were getting, like, their drinks poisoned. ¿Y sabe qué tanto? Did you hear about that? Like, maybe 3 years ago I heard that. It was,
I did hear,
big.
And I think even something with a missing girl, maybe?
Algo así.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I haven't had a bad experience, and it kind of I went with my kids, so I really don't even drink.
Yeah,
and we always kind of stay in.
The resort.
Yeah, and then we do activities, but then we come right back. So casi no lo saco enough to, but yeah, I mean, the kids like just the weather too. It's just you won't, like ahí no falla the warm weather.
We have family friends que son de ahí. We were telling them that for my sister when this year she turns 15, pero no quiere fiesta. And so she wants like a trip. And our family friends were telling us que vayamos a
Punta Cana. Yeah.
Que vayamos allá que está bonito. And We'll see. We'll see what she ends up choosing.
I mean, I personally, this is my opinion. We like it. Their resorts are all inclusive. They have a lot of things going on.
Okay.
So, like, regardless, they have a lot of restaurants you could choose from. And then at night, when you come back, they do like shows in the theater. So it's kind of, it's nice. It gets you very busy and the activities are pretty cool. This time around, we went. We did like this. So there's a tour. They go to Stone Island and.
Oh, you guys went to an island?
Yeah, so you go on there on a speedboat, and then halfway, and then halfway there, te tiran como it's like a natural pool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then they take you to the island. You're there for like 2 hours and a half. They take pictures and all that, and then on your way back, they take you on a catamaran. So like they have music and it's nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it like one of those like
party boats? Pretty much.
Como ya ves como en México que tienen the boats que llevan como música almeada.
Sí, yeah, like
así.
that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and so we did that one day, and then the other day it was like all activities. So we did zip lining, the chairlift.
You weren't scared of the zip lining? I saw your pictures.
Girl, I was, you know what? I think the older you get, you're like, what the hell am I doing here? And those things are like flying. And then I I don't know, I have already done it before, but this time, every time I would get to the end, sentía que me iba I just, I
would think that in the beginning, because
at the end of each line, so there's 12 lines.
Oh,
y so cada que you, you're almost there, you bounce, you hit the line so hard. So yeah, we did the lining, the chairlift, and then, girl, we did the buggies, the dirt ones. Did you see how we ended up?
Yes, I did. Tú toda guapa.
Oh my God. No.
I was like, you guys should have took the pictures before.
My outfit was brand new. It was garbage.
Nice. It looked nice. I'm like, está toda guapa y se fue.
Y yo cuando me subí, yo vi que todas llevaban como
biker shorts.
Yes,
and stuff.
girl. Y como Wendy's, yo decía, why the hell are, ¿cómo? Why?
Oh, tú ni idea, nada.
No, yo dije, ¿cómo voy a andar así en un zipline? Girl, half booty out, or, it just didn't make sense to me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like in a swimsuit.
Sí, yo no sabía. And luego someone came and they're like, oh, you don't need goggles and a ski mask. I was like, what the hell am I going to ski? Y no entendí muy bien until ya cuando vi que la gente empezó a salir bien mugrosa. I'm like, oh my God. So I ended up buying myself and the kids bandanas. Okay. Para podernos tapar la cara. We all had sunglasses, thank God. Y, my son it's a boy with all three girls, right?
Yeah, so, manejando.
Sí, so Mia's like, Mom, no, it's either you or me because Eric no sé qué. And I'm like, no, let him drive. He's already driving. He has a license. And mind you, he's so big that he even questioned how old he was. So I'm like, ¿qué nos puede pasar? They do make you wear helmets and, so I'm like, you want to drive? He's like, yeah. Oh my God.
He's like, yes.
He every time he saw those puddles, era como darle con ganas. We, no lie, I know it's going to be too much info, but teníamos lodo hasta los calzones. It was pretty bad.
But you guys had fun.
It was pretty fun. I think, we were actually hesitant. We were about to skip that activity.
Okay.
Until my youngest is like, Mom, no, the one activity I really want to do, you guys don't want to do. And I was like,
Your daughter?
La más chiquita, sí. And I'm like, fine.
Oh.
Y yo dije que lo peor que puede pasar, terminar bien mugrosa.
Pero, o sea, ¿ya sabían de esa activity before you guys got there?
We did, but we didn't think it was going to be that bad.
Oh.
That muddy,
Yeah.
Y pues ya cuando terminamos, they have outside showers where literally we had no choice. We had to get completely soaked to take off the mud.
Oh.
Because then that's why we were riding horses todos mojados and sucios. Yes, and that was such a nice nice quiet tour with the horses. Yeah. Pero pues ni modo, mojados and lodados because we had no choice.
Oh, no.
Y pues other people were prepared and they actually did change clothes,
Oh, entonces ustedes ni llevaban
nada. When we got back to the hotel, it was funny because everybody was looking at us. Oh, someone had some fun.
Everybody.
Todos decían, because they're very nice. And it was quite fun.
Where'd you guys stay?
We, it's called Ocean El Faro. That's the resort that we stayed at this time. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
And the activities and everything was they provided all of that? Was it part of the resort? I know like maybe with
no, so the resort is all inclusive, like you know, but then you book your activities separate. But it's nice because they pick you up from your hotel.
Okay.
So you just book it y ellos ya saben, because you know it's all mainly tourists out there, so they know where the resorts are y ya pues te recogen enfrente y te dejan ahí mismo.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's pretty, you know,
so you feel more safe and you don't have to like see because that was my issue. Oh, like anywhere I go, I'd rather just kind of go like to a resort and all inclusive.
Yeah.
Porque soy bien miedosa. Yeah, and since I was little, I used to watch a lot of like Discovery Channel because of my dad.
Yeah.
Y veíamos mucho de eso de que people would get kidnapped everywhere, or las mujeres que they go on a run in their neighborhood and they never come back.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I like I said, I've been there 3 times, and to be honest, all 3 times nunca me he sentido insegura.
Qué bueno.
People are very nice, and like I think, you know, like I said, I just do the activities. They pick you up from there, they drop you off, and that's it. I really haven't really ventured out, especially not with the kids either. Because of their safety. If I'm on my own, then maybe it's different, but con ellos, I'd rather be safe, you know?
Yeah.
But so we went, we came back Sunday night. Yeah, pues back to the routine on Monday.
¿Cuándo se fueron?
We left the Wednesday 22nd.
Oh,
so it was only 5 days, and we came back Sunday
I feel like
night.
That's perfect time, though.
It was.
To be honest. Like,
it was.
I feel like I need a vacation from a vacation.
Yeah.
Especially when you have like activities like that too.
See, and I try not to book too many, so we did un día sí, un día no, un día sí, un día no, so that you could also like kind of stay in the resort and, you know, chill, porque de ahí then you're always just tired of doing stuff.
Yeah, I feel like you get more like overstimulated like that.
Yeah, but it is enough days because so we come back and, you know, like it's a whole, sabes, preparation before you leave. And then when you come back to your routine and to kind of catch up on everything, you kind of, you know, miss those days.
Right. How was the flight itself?
It was pretty cool. It was not at all. The kids were a little scared from the last time when we went to Cancun.
Oh, ahí sí había turbulence?
Sí, había mucho that like they were holding on to me, like, you know, they were scared. Y esta vez, thankfully, it was so like smooth that they fell asleep. Like they didn't even.
Because that's what I'm scared of too.
You're
like, girl, mejor de la casa.
Sí,
no salgas.
Well, you know, sabes que pues uno, I mean, siempre con los miedos, and then you listen to things, but también a veces, you know, you have to risk a little bit to you know, conocer.
Yeah, that's true. I used to be like very into conspiracy theories. Like,
oh my God,
metía mucho las conspiracy theories, but because of the same reason how my dad raised me.
Well, it's funny because when, you know, every time we're there, I think I did tell you we went to New York in December, and I always mess with the kids because we're always watching like documentaries on Netflix, which is, I don't know how good it is.
Right.
Porque in New York, we were having like issues with the elevator. Long story short, yes, I didn't tell them though, pero se me ocurre like Google, right? And sure enough, there was like a ghost story in the elevator. I know, and I didn't want to freak them out, so no les dije literally until we hopped on the Uber on the way to the airport.
¿Y si son miedosos ellos?
Sí, son miedosos, especialmente la chiquita.
Honestly, I would have been like, Mom,
yes.
Me quedo en el carro.
Sí,
Did you guys rent the car?
We no, in New York it's just walking. So
that's true.
Yeah, we only Ubered to there. And todo lo demás is a lot of walking.
Out of luck.
Yeah, it was pretty scary, but I mean, mind you, when I was a kid, we never traveled. So now I guess I do whatever I didn't do as a kid, porque nunca, we never traveled. So kind of.
Con tus hijos.
Sí, I mean, yo creo que siempre hay un miedo que algo pase, right? But
yeah, y si va a pasar, pues va a pasar.
En donde quiera, sí.
I think that's why, like, ever since I got closer and had a better relationship with God, I truly have let go of the conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Because I know they exist, just how I know, like, demons and evil exist, but I just kind of stay focused on my relationship with God. It goes back to the same story when Peter went onto the water and Jesus called him onto the water, and as soon as Peter looked away, he drowned it, like he was drowning, and then he called on to Jesus to save him, and Jesus saved him. But like, to me, it's kind of like, as soon as we look away from Jesus, like, we're gonna drown, like,
Sí,
that's what,
it can happen.
yeah,
O sea, el peligro está en cualquier
en
momento,
donde
en cualquier
sea.
lugar, sí.
And also, he tells us, do not fear, so.
That's something I always, like, my mom has always been I don't know, she's she's my mom and she's special.
Yeah.
I know I've told you about her, but she's always that kind of person that I think this is one of the other reasons why I always stay away from her. She's always that person that's me dice, oh my God, ya va a haber otra guerra. Or tells me, oh my God, ya viste que hay otra enfermedad? And it was so consistent and constant. I swear one day I said, Mom, listen, like, tú sabes que también vivir en miedo no es vivir.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, si uno vive todos los días diciendo, oh my God, esto, oh my God, like, no vives.
Yeah, no, not
Sometimes,
at all.
That's why you do have to let go of some fears and just, go day by day.
Well, that's what the media wants us to do. And unfortunately, they do target more of like the older audience because that's what they were used to, and that was the only media they had. But also, I feel like with social media and AI, it's even worse, you know?
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's what I tell like anybody that we talk about this type of stuff. I'm like, dude, honestly, evil has always existed.
Siempre.
Always.
Siempre.
Like all the way from Cain and Abel. It has always existed.
Always, yeah.
Imagínate, they're the first like situation with like somebody another human or murdering another human.
Yeah.
Imagínate if they had social media, everybody would like freak out like the world's gonna end, like another human just killed somebody else.
Yeah, I know.
So like I think it's definitely just like the connection of like social media and truly just not having, I guess, like that ¿cómo se dice? That calmness and faith and like being able to be like, you know what? Something that I've learned is that I don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds the future.
Yeah.
And what better hands than that? Because it can really take you down to a rabbit hole.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Bad. Y te quedas estancado en la casa.
See, that's how I feel like with my mom. Like, every time there's a new thing, and I'm thinking, wow, like, yeah, and this has been nonstop. It's been all life. I feel like sometimes in a way we are kind of on survival mode,
Yeah.
Pero yeah, ella es así como muy, and yeah, I guess maybe because she's a little older, ella todo se cree. So I tell you, you cannot listen to everything because nowadays hay muchas cosas que there's the technology and there are ways to make it up. Yeah. So you need to be more open to, research it, investigate it. Don't, pero si ella todo cree eso, como que yo le dije eso. I'm like, even if it was, tú no puedes vivir con el miedo porque si no, no vas a vivir.
Right. Girl, hasta a mí a veces me agarra, not gonna lie. Like sometimes I'm like, was that AI? Why did I see a TikTok probably like a few months ago of Ricky Martin saying that he gave his life to Christ, that he's no longer gay and he's divorcing.
Oh my God.
Girl, why did it look so real? Sí. I promise you I Googled it. I had to Google to see if it was for real. But it was not for real. He's still gay. But I was like, whoa, like I was excited, but like still, like I was like,
yeah, it's very it's just technology.
I was thinking back on how real it looked. So imagínate nuestros parents that they don't even know. Si apenas están aprendiendo a usar el teléfono, like Facebook and all of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. They'll be able to
imagine that's how like lives, especially like with kids in high school.
Dude.
Like, that's scary.
Or like, what do you mean? Like how like they can use
it against like us, like revenge.
Okay, I was thinking about how in court can they even use evidence now, like videos and
as far as I know,
pictures?
before, no. Now, yes. They can actually even go into your Facebook and like look at your pictures and stuff.
But like as a judge, I would be like, is that AI? You know what I'm saying?
Like,
I see what you mean. Like, is it credible? Because like anybody could like
just
say,
make it up now.
It's either like it really isn't, and anybody could say, oh, it's AI, or actually make it up and put like false evidence against them.
Yeah.
But maybe they have like some sort of like technology where you can
trace. I'm sure they can trace Yeah,
Yeah,
they can
right?
trace to see whether it's, made up or there is a legit, like, source.
Source, right? Because they have to. Because
Well, isn't
imagínate.
it weird how del pasado al futuro, right? Now, hasta se puede inventar. And in the past, how many people got away with so many crimes because there was not enough technology?
That's true.
Like, there was no DNA. There was, like, maybe the fingerprinting.
Yes.
Pero el DNA was a big, big one. There was no cameras, too. So, like, ¿cuánta gente estuvo, falsamente acusada or simplemente all of those cases that really weren't, ever solved because there was no technology? But then now you have that it's like too much technology, right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, or if it wasn't like, I mean, in this case, it wasn't like good, but I have an uncle, right, that supposedly when he was younger, a long, long time ago, okay, allegedly, let's just say allegedly,
Yeah.
apparently when he would get arrested, he would grab like a coin some way, somehow, and rub his fingerprints to make him bleed. And
so
like they weren't
won't.
able to trace like his fingerprints.
Well, I know it sounds crazy, but I know of people that when they had, I knew of someone specifically that when they were trying to get their citizenship, like to, get their status fixed, you know how they have to do the biometrics?
Yeah, yeah.
They couldn't read it. They couldn't read his huella. So hey, I don't know what he did. I know. I don't know if it's because of the job he had or what it was, but I don't know why they couldn't like run his fingerprints.
So did they end up like proceeding with it, or how?
I think they did partials, but like I don't know if they they took him to a special. I don't know, but I'm sure somewhere they had to.
And they gave it.
They probably took his toes. I'm kidding.
For real.
But I mean, they have to have some kind of
do something.
Yeah.
But sí se lo dieron.
See, from what, they ended up doing the whole, like, they still do like a whole criminal background, sure, but.
Wow. They still gave it to him.
Yeah.
That's crazy, because I feel like that's a big part of it, no?
Part of it, yeah.
Well, not gonna lie, now that I think about it, for my husband, cuando me arregló recently, a él no le sacaron huellas, which I was surprised.
You fixed him or él a ti?
No, él a mí.
No, and they only do you.
But I thought that they were gonna, I don't know, because like...
They didn't do yours?
No, they didn't do mine, but only because I had DACA.
Oh, alright, so you already had your stuff.
Yeah, they already had it. But I thought that him, I don't know, that they were gonna do
his? No, they usually don't.
I was like, they didn't do yours. Maybe they liked us. How did your son went to prom again, right?
Oh my God, yes.
How did that go?
He's a sophomore, and again,
he's a sophomore. It's his second year.
They're going to prom. Jesus, I know.
Well, you did mention last time like a good, I guess a good point with a boy, it's a little bit less than a girl.
Yeah, I mean, money-wise, thankfully, right? It's just a black suit. It's, most of the time he's been able to wear the black suit, and then just match the tie to the girl's dress.
What color was it this year?
This year was emerald green.
That's a cute color.
Yeah, it was. She was. Yeah, it was. It was quite an ordeal. This weekend was a crazy weekend. So he had prom Saturday.
Okay.
And then my daughter had a volleyball tournament this weekend. So thankfully Mia didn't work. So my hija, you're gonna have to split with me the task porque I can't be in two places. Emma played in Midway, which was in Chicago, and then my son had a prom. So yeah, gracias a Dios, Elia maneja. He drove himself to get a haircut. I got his, suit dry cleaned. And I had Mia take him to pictures. So, you're
like, it's your second prom, go.
I don't mind it. Yeah, and then, he didn't mind either. He's like, no, Mom, it's fine. Just go with Emma y que Mia me saque fotos.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And I'm telling you, God knows why things happen, porque if I would have been there. So... when you have, as a mom...
Doesn't sound good.
No, as a mom, you have always a gut feeling. Ya sabes cuando las mamás nos decían, like, uno sabe, uno tiene el sexto sentido, like, y es cierto. So, ever since he told me about this girl, I will be honest, she never gave me a direct reason not to like her. Mm-hmm. It was just a gut feeling I had.
You just knew.
Yeah. Y there was little things, the little things that I knew of her is one day she asked him for a pair of sweatpants. Y cuando la vi con los my kids sweatpants, como que me dio así como que nasty ass. But that was it, right? O sea, I'm like, okay. Entonces después, often he asked me permission to go to play pickleball, or here there me decía, Mom, can I go to Target con Chelsea, no sé quién? So like la mencionaba mucho, like a lot of these little like saliditas, right?
Okay.
So no, the only one thing that kind of was like, why is, a young girl like going out,
Right.
so yo le decía, no, hijo, porque ya está tarde, or, entonces, bueno, that's the only thing I knew about her until he told me, hey, Mom, Chelsea me invitó a prom this year. I'm like, okay. Y ya le dije, just let me know the color of your tie. And, I had to buy him a suit again because ya creció y no le queda. He's 6 feet tall now.
Oh, you still had to buy him another suit though?
Sí, porque ya el otro ya no le quedó.
Girl.
I know. Entonces,
what age do they stop growing?
I know. Well, he's 16 and según los hombres stop growing until they're 21. So I don't know how tall he's going to get.
How tall is he, you said?
He's 6 feet tall now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. Y so le compré el traje. So I got him the tie. Y pues, I made sure que tuviera su appointment for his hair. So tell me why llega la muchacha. Para empezar, voy a juzgar. Girl, no planchó el vestido. I'm thinking, girl, yo llevé a mi hijo con su trajecito bien planchado. I made sure, que él llegara bien. La mensa no planchó el vestido. I was like, okay, whatever.
And it's her prom.
And it was her prom.
Okay.
Well, so mandé a mi hija, and then my daughter, I started texting her, hija, ¿cómo te va? Y me dice, oh, Mom. Dice, qué bueno que no me dice. Y le digo, ¿por qué? Y me dice, like, so she was being very rude to her mom to start off with.
Oof.
Y yo dije, oh, hell no, right? So I was like, okay. Y dice, and then she tells me, and then she started to be rude to Eric, and then even the mom told her to like not be so bossy with him,
Oh, heck no.
Oh, heck no. Yo dije, and I'll tell you what I told my son when he got home. And so I'm like, are you serious? Y me dice, yeah. She's like, now I see why you had that good feeling that you didn't like her. Y le digo, hija, I'm telling you, like, I don't know what it was, but no me gustó su forma de ser, the little that I see her, right?
Right.
So así quedó, y yo no le quise decir nada a mi hijo. He went off. I let him borrow my fancy car para que se fuera a prom. Él hizo, what my point is, my son was very patient, like very de llevarla, de todo, right?
Right.
Entonces fueron a cenar, y I have all my kids at Life 360. I think I've told you that.
Yeah.
And so yo vi que estaba cenando, and I'm like, okay, le voy a preguntar cómo le va. Y le digo, hey, hijo, le digo, ¿cómo te va? Y he's like, good, Mom. Le digo, ¿todo bien? He's like, yeah.
At this point, yeah, you already knew though.
Yes, by this point I already knew, but of course yo no le iba a decir nada to ruin his
Right.
day. Y mind you, no es su culpa. But I did want to have a conversation with him porque yo dije, I'm not going to allow him to get treated like that.
Right, right.
I think my son has grown up in a house where, of course, pobrecito, he's stuck with 3 girls, mom and 2 sisters. And I think he's grown to be patient and gentle because, he has only girls at
no
home.
Quiera, ¿verdad?
Sí, y yo le he enseñado porque yo siempre le digo, hijo, cuando tú crezcas, tú vas a tener una novia, tú tienes que, aprender a hablar con ella, always talking to him. Pero una cosa es ser buena gente, otra cosa es ser dejado, So I said, oh, heck no. I was so pissed. Yo dije, yo hubiera quedado hasta ahí porque yo sí le digo algo. Like, yo no me hubiera quedado callada. Y si ella quiere tratar a su mamá así, ese es su problema, para mi hijo no. So I said, okay, I have to have a conversation with this kid. Gracias a Dios, mi hijo siempre escucha. Y pues, when I texted him, like, ¿cómo te va con Chelsea? He's like, okay. I was like, okay. No le va bien, right? Pero no le quise como, solo le pregunté, what time are you going to get home? Or what time are you guys going to the dance? And then what time are you going to get home? Y ella me dijo, entonces en eso, pasa el rato y me dice, hey, Mom. So he got invited to his friend's party, like a friend party that they were going to have. Pero la muchacha was not invited.
Oh.
And that to me even says a lot more. Right?
Like where she stands, like with everybody
Exactly.
else.
And so, long story short, llega mi hijo a la casa, camisa abierta, corbata tirada. O sea, él venía un desastre. Exhausted. Stressed. Venía estresado. Y mi hijo es muy paciente, let me tell you. Y le digo, hijo, ¿qué tienes? Y I'm like, no te fue muy bien, ¿verdad? Y he's like, no. And I'm like, listen. I'm like, I want to talk to you straight up de una vez. I'm like, I heard how she is. I'm like, and it bothers me. I'm like, because well, it bothers me porque es una malagradecida. Digo, para empezar, hubiera planchado el pinche vestido.
Antes tú no le ofreciste,
Le dije, I'm telling you, this is, le digo, pero deja de eso. Le digo, tú viste que we made the time, we did everything so that que tú estuvieras ahí para hacerla pasar un buen rato.
Yeah, it's the
no
detail, the effort.
No se me hace justo que ella te trate así. I'm like, now, mind you guys are only friends, right? Because he had talked to me about possibly dating her in the future because they were talking.
First of all, the fact that he's talking to you about this and he's like your only son, that says a lot about you. A lot, to be completely honest with you. You must feel really special with him, like, talking to you that deep.
Sí, well, until yo le dije, I know you guys told me que tú me dijiste que possibly dating. I'm like, but I want you to understand something. I'm like, first of all, did you see how she treated her mom and her dad? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I just can tell you, hijo, that una persona que trata a sus papás así tells you a lot. I'm like, so ¿cómo piensas tú que te va a tratar a ti?
Right.
I'm like, now, mind you, siendo su amigo y haciéndole el favor de acompañarla, she was being bossy to you, like, so le gritó. He was holding her dress para que ella no se tropezara y le gritó porque según ella, he was lifting too high y que she was going to flash everyone.
Oh.
Which, ¿quién chingado se le ocurre? Pones un mendigo vestido that her boobs are popping out and she's showing everything. You know what I mean? But my son was helping her.
Oh, don't mess with mama bear.
Oh, heck no. Por eso te digo, thank God, que yo no le dije a mi hijo, le digo, hijo, y qué bueno que no fui yo porque I'm sorry. There is no way I would have allowed her to disrespect you like that.
Y también tu hija, la más grande, es más calladita también,
sí,
right?
Sí.
La chiquita sí es a little more feisty.
Sí, es más
She would
feisty.
probably say something, huh?
Y pues, he's like, no, mom. He's like, honestly, he's like, I am so stressed. Dice que she complained all night.
Oh, no.
All she did was complain, and she got mad when I got up and took a picture. I'm like, oh, red flag. And I'm all like I'm like, hijo, that's a big red flag. I'm like, I'm going to tell you something something that I realized. You told me that you were invited, but she wasn't invited to your friend's party. I'm like, and I'm going to tell you something. Even that you need to think about when you're going to date someone because you don't want to get pushed away from your friend group.
True.
That's not what you want. I'm like, and that tells you, and it's for a reason. So me dijo, yeah, mom, I just took her home. Dice, I just took her home.
Wow.
And he's told me, I stood quiet. Dice que cuando she was just complaining in the dinner, se puso a jugar un baseball game.
Your son?
Yes.
Oh, he's funny.
He's so funny. And so then dice que lo llevó a la casa y que todo el camino she was complaining. Y que él solamente se quedó callado y que ella le dijo, why are you quiet? Why are you not saying anything? He's like, because I have nothing else to tell you. Él lo único dice que le dijo y la bajó y he came home y es cuando llegó todo así. And so that I was, telling him, hijo, I need you to understand, like, this is something you can prevent now.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not telling you can't be her friend if you want to have a friend like that, which I don't even think as a friend she was nice to you.
Right.
Pero honestamente, to date someone like that, I don't think you don't want to get in that toxic relationship.
No.
So I'm like, you really don't because you're already seeing everything that's wrong. And he's like, no, mom, I know. He's like, honestly, I don't even know how to like ghost her. He's like, but I'm so like stressed. I don't want to talk to her. Lo dejó súper frustrado.
Oh my God. And she's a senior?
And so then.
Oh, lo bueno que ya no la va. Well, everybody's from the same like area.
Yeah, from the same. Y pues, he went to the party un ratito y ya, pues the next morning le digo, today actually I asked him. I'm like, hey, so ¿cómo te va? Did you guys end up talking again? Or, He's like, nope, we're not talking.
Well, honestly,
yeah,
he
cut it.
He realized his boundaries.
Yeah, sí me dijo, so le dije, I know. He's like, well, I thought she was a good girl, but and it's okay. Like, that's how you get to meet people, by talking. But the important thing about it is look at the signs, look at the things, and stop it. Early. Don't get engaged porque después es cuando se enamoran y ya pues te sientes mal.
Yeah.
I'm like, so he's like, I just decided not to talk to her mom. I'm so stressed from that day.
Wow. And she didn't even try to like ask him like what's
lo que yo
going
le
on?
dije, I'm like, she didn't try to like tell you anything? Dice que no. So I think she got bothered too that my son didn't like encourage none of her, bad behavior.
I mean, I'm sure she's probably like some way, somehow sees it at home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way, like...
So yo le dije a mi hija, le digo, mami, why, this is, okay, we're Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say how I told my daughter. Le digo, hija, la chinga la culpa la mamá primero y luego la hija. I'm like, porque ¿cómo permite la mamá que le hable la hija así, para empezar, right? Entonces me dice mi hija, Mom, dice, saliendo de ahí, dijo, okay, dice, all right, so where are you guys going to go? So like, you know, to party and stuff. Como que sí, these kids are young. Like, these are not kids to be drinking and stuff.
And she's
you
like
know?
the mom from the, what is it called? Mean Girls? She's like, do
See,
you guys want any drinks?
Well, listen, she's like, okay, well, I'm off to have some drinks myself. Or like, so my daughter's like, oh yeah. So like now you see where it comes from.
Oh, no.
So I was like, oh, and it's okay. I told my kids, we all respect everybody's family dynamic, right? It's different. But I told my son, like, I don't want him to get into a bad.
Right, that's not the situation you want for your son. Like,
yeah.
that's fine. Whatever tickles everybody's pickle.
Yes,
but like,
but
you're like,
not
my son.
Yeah. Especially que te digo que mi hijo es muy noble. Entonces, it's funny because I have obviously my oldest daughter. I have my son, so my oldest is 19, my son is 16, and my youngest is going to be 15. And you always think, oh, hay que cuidar a las hijas. To be honest, creo que tengo que cuidar a más a mi
Remember
hijo.
I told you?
Yes.
Remember I told you I was so scared of having a son? Like,
Yes.
with boys, it's so scary. Like, yes, girls, women, we go through a lot, too. And honestly, it's scary for us, too. But I feel like men are more easily influenced.
Depending on their edad. Like my son is muy vulnerable. In the relationship aspect, in that aspect, my son is, he needs the guidance. I think my daughters are tougher, pero mi hijo es más vulnerable, and not a bad thing. I think he's gonna hopefully be a loving husband one day, but right now it's important for him not to, fall into the bad relationships, porque sí, he can be those good guys that end up with a bad person.
Girl, sí existe, like, where, like,
sí.
Guys are the ones that are, like, abused and mistreated and everything.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm telling you. Entonces yo le dije a hijo, cuando ella te gritó, ¿qué dijiste? He's like, nada, le sigue agarrando el vestido. And I told him, like, I don't need you to be mean either, but you need to identify it and don't allow it either,
Have boundaries.
So like, you should let gone on the dress y que vea cómo chingados se subiera, donde se fuera a trepar.
Right. But you know what? Him, like, stepping up and putting boundaries of not talking, like, to her and really just not keep her, like, energy going, I think showed her, you know?
Yeah, I think she realized desde que también iban en el carro y él se quedó completamente callado. Y ella le dijo, why are you saying anything? Le dijo, es que yo no tengo nada que decirte. So,
okay, have a good night.
Yes, literally, bájate del carro.
Oh, man.
Sí, pobrecita. So, sí, and so that was Saturday. My parents were over that weekend.
That weekend they were over?
Yeah, even though I wasn't home because I had to take Emma the tournament.
Yes.
Pero sí pude estar con ellos Saturday evening, and then Sunday I had to leave early again to the tournament.
Guys, she's a busy woman.
I know.
She is such a busy woman. Like, honestly, to be completely honest with you, I've told you this before too. Like, that, I don't know how you do it. Like, it's so crazy. God is really guiding you because you do it all alone. Honestly, with the guidance of God. But here in physical, you do it all alone. And I know ya te ayuda tu daughter, ya tu son que maneja te ayuda un poquito más, pero dude, like you.
It's a nonstop. So in the weekend, it was that, right? I had my daughter do this, please help me out with this. And then meanwhile, we had the dogs groomed, girl, because we have two dogs.
Oh my God.
I took my daughter to the tournament.
¿No tienes gatos, verdad?
No, no. And meanwhile, I was doing showings too. So it was, so it's and then my parents were in the house, so it's
nonstop. Do you feel like though, like, okay, so while you were on vacation, do you feel like it's hard for you to disconnect? Yeah.
I actually planned it, to be honest. I planned to be able to disconnect, and thankfully too, believe it or not, my phone wasn't working when we were going on the activities, so it was
thank God.
Yeah, so I was able to disconnect from the trucking, and then I did disconnect from the realtor, and I would only check my phone at night, pero my phone wasn't getting good service, so thankfully in a way helped.
You are a whole entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and a real estate agent, and you have your kids, girl.
And it's
when you hear like all your titles, like, what does that do to you?
I don't know. So the other day I was listening. I always listen in between. I'm always listening to podcasts, mind you, in between of, my professional world, right? I like you said, I have a trucking company, which keeps me super busy. And then I became a realtor.
If you guys need,
Yeah, I know.
if you guys need to buy or sell a house, hit her up.
Yes, for sure. I'm here in Rockford in Chicago.
Yes.
And then, obviously I'm a single mom. I have 3 teens, 19, 16, and almost 15.
Man.
We have a quinceañera coming up.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I
That's
know.
another
So that's another thing
load.
that I'm in between and doing everything. And then I'm listening to podcasts and, and at the end of the day, I think less more of me realizing what I am. I do always feel like I'm always on survival mode. I've tried to feel better about, change that thought, I feel like now I have gotten to a point in my life where I do enjoy, the little things like the vacation. I was able to disconnect, and I truly did disconnect. I was in the vacation. In the past, I wasn't able to. I think a lot of things were just still always in the back of my mind, and I wasn't really there. And the other day I was listening to a podcast, and it also kind of brought me up, kind of when you start to go back when you're a child.
Yeah.
It starts to remind you. I was listening to a podcast and I listened to the girl say her story, and I'm thinking, man, her mom was so mean. I thought about that, and then I realized oh shoot, that's a lot of things that I went through.
You related.
Yeah. So my daughter's gonna have her cotillion in August, and a childhood friend of mine. I don't know if I told you this, but she is actually going to teach her baile de sorpresa.
Oh, sí, sí, sí.
I went to see her this Saturday because I had to switch faldas for my daughter, and we were talking a little bit, and so she made me realize how there's a lot of things, when you're a kid, either you block away or you just don't think about, because you're just trying to survive and just trying to be better each day, but then you realize oh shoot, I did go through all of that, and maybe that's why a lot of things that you go through when you're a child it reflects on your adulthood.
Absolutely, your childhood trauma.
Yeah, y me acuerdo, y so me dijo, me acuerdo when your mom used to beat on you.
Oh, she remembers?
Sí, and I don't remember less. I don't remember when she beat me in front of them.
Oh, in front of them.
Yeah, y sabes que quiere trato, and I think it's psychologically I blocked it out of my head. One of the things I've always struggled with is being in public, speaking in public, talking to people that I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's one of my biggest struggles. How did I become a realtor? Or it's a struggle. It's one of my weaknesses that I've been working on. Y me dijo, yo me acuerdo cuando tu mamá te pegó and I couldn't do anything. Y me dijo, until the day, Rosie, dice, I always remember that. Eso no se me olvida nunca.
Oh my God.
Y me dijo, dice, I remember going to my mom and telling her, Mom, we need to help her.
Stop.
Yeah.
She's your age?
She was in my school age. We actually played soccer together too.
Oh man.
And and it's funny because I always remember that ella se llama Claudia, and she actually has an amazing dance group.
Okay.
She is actually she owns the dance group that dances for the Macy's Thanksgiving parade.
Oh, stop. Okay,
Yeah.
period.
So I'm gonna promote her too.
Yes.
Her name is Claudia Gutierrez. She has her dance group in Franklin Park,
Wow.
Illinois. Y small world. A few years ago, it's more than 10 years ago, I reconnected with her because she started her group, and I actually had my older daughter dance with her.
Oh, wow.
But then we kind of reconnected, but we just more metí a la niña a bailar, y pues pasaron los años, y but we really didn't ever have a conversation.
Okay.
Y ahora que la niña, she's going to do her quinceañera, we're actually going to do, she wants to do folclórico for her surprise dance.
Yeah.
So I figured, I'm going to reach out to Claudia. And sure I did. And so, that's when I took her. And so then, I had a conversation. She goes, Rosie, she goes, yo me acuerdo cuando tu mamá te pegaba mucho. Well, because she asked me nonchalantly, and so how's your mom?
Oh my God. Ella también está traumada, yo creo, from
Sí,
that.
and so we started talking, because she started to tell my daughter, my youngest, le dijo, your mom is really great. And, That's where it kind of hit me. I'm like, really?
I agree.
And she said, and she's like, I remember, in high school. And so then she started to tell her like our stories in high school. We played soccer together. And I always,
Oh, wow, I didn't know that about you.
yeah, well, I actually used to be a swimmer. I used to play volleyball and soccer. Yeah. We played soccer together. And I remember Claudia always was one of those childhood friends that stood in my mind because I will never forget that her quinceañera was the only quinceañera that I was allowed to go to.
Oh, so she was close to you, like.
I don't know why in the world my mom allowed me, to be
To go to
honest,
that
because
one?
her family was not close to mine, but for some reason they allowed me to go to that one. And I will never forget it. It was so beautiful. Like I remember having it was a huge ballroom, and I remember her, her dress. But the thing that mostly shocked me was actually her surprise dance. None of us knew that she was part of a dance group.
Oh, so she was already part of
Yes,
it.
so she grew up being una bailarina. She dances
Like a ballet?
folclórico.
Oh, okay. That was her thing. Like,
That was her thing. Yeah, and so we never knew, and I will never forget that suddenly when she came out, we were all shocked. Like our friend group was like, oh, like we were shocked. Y esa impresión se me quedó mucho. Like I think I've always been about my heritage too. Like I like my culture, so como que eso me encantó. Like to me, it was lovely. Like
Oh, because back then era más como de reggaetón,
sí,
más así,
bachata, merengue.
Ajá.
So cuando ella sale y salen con los vestidos, it was amazing. It was beautiful. And so that always kind of stuck in my, that was one of the most things that stuck in my mind. So yo le estaba contando a ella, right? Y dice, oh, mira, Rose, dice, really, you remember? Le digo, sí. Y entonces ya pues, hablando más en plática, she tells me, yeah, Rose, dice, la verdad, dice, it's something I've always wanted to tell you, pero it just, never happened. She goes, but I will never forget, dice, el día que tu mamá te pegó.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, enfrente de mí, dice, y I remember running to my mom and telling her, Mom, we have to help her.
Oh, stop.
Y que su mamá le dijo que they really couldn't do anything.
Oh.
And so, that's just, it kind of makes you, I think with the years, con el tiempo, he tratado de siempre sobrellevar, and I feel like, I don't want to justify to do anything. I keep going, right? I'm always positive, trying to grow. And I don't want to be that person to say, oh, es que porque yo era niña, now I'm this. I don't excuse myself. I, to the contrary, try to push myself to do just better.
Right.
But then you kind of sit back and you're like,
wow.
yeah,
Even other people saw it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I think that's what kind of hit me recently. Like I realized the abuse that I got, it wasn't only me. At some point, I'll be honest, my mom would make me think like I over-exaggerated. And
Like
so
this is normal. Like she tried to make it seem like it was normal.
like I exaggerated. Like I will tell you. So I remember early things like when I was 6 years old. I don't know why she was always very very strict, super estricta. My mom wouldn't allow us to chew bubble gum, for example.
Oh, girl, she would have hated me.
Because, porque solo las vacas comen chicle, We couldn't, and even worse, blow a bubble.
Yeah.
Porque, solo las putas en la esquina hacen eso. Another thing that my mom didn't allow us to do, or at least me, I remember, was flip-flops.
Me wearing them right now, doing everything she doesn't like.
She would not let me wear flip-flops porque, you know how they flop?
Yes, el ruido.
So ella no nos dejaba.
Como que era muy corriente o le molestaba el
Sí,
ruido.
y luego we couldn't, of course, drag our feet porque, as soon as you would drag your feet, te daba el coscorrón. She was super strict, Les. Strict and abusive, right?
Yeah.
I remember, I think one of the youngest memories that I have is when I was 6 years old. I'm not quite sure what did I do. No recuerdo qué hice, what triggered her, but I remember her hanging me in the closet. She would grab the the rope thing.
The tie.
Sí, con lo que te amarras. I just remember her que me amarró las manos, and because I was so tiny, she was able to tie it onto the pole.
Your hands hanging?
Like this, yeah. And she closed the closet, she would close the closet.
Girl.
I remember that, and then I do remember.
How old were you?
I think back then, because I remember in that building, I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old. Those are the little memories that I have of them that time, right? Recuerdo mucho en ese tiempo, cuando we were little, my brother and I were only a year apart, so muchas cosas compartíamos. I do recall a lot, I protecting my brother.
So he was
like,
younger
he
by a
was,
year.
yeah, 1 year younger. Pero I always felt like my mom always had it with me. And I thought I was wrong. Maybe I thought it was just me, but no, because within the years fueron creciendo, ella como que fue un poco más abusive with me. I remember in that time when I was 6'2", that she would kneel me at rice.
Girl.
Like, como castigo.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that. And of course, pues, with her hitting us with the belt.
Where did she get these like ideas
So
from?
a little background of my mom. So my mom was, when my mom was 3 months old, her mom killed herself. So my mom is the youngest of 7 girls, 7 daughters. And it's so weird. Just life is crazy, right? My mom's dad was an only son. Isn't that crazy? Fue hijo único y tuvo 7 hijas con mi abuela. Él era un alcohólico y peleaba mucho con mi abuela. And I guess when my mom was 3 months old, I want to say now that I conclude things, I think it was probably postpartum depression. Because, my mom was only 3 months old. She committed suicide.
Oh man.
Yeah, and so my mom was left, al cuidado de todas las hermanas. Y years later, when her father came to U.S., she was left with her sisters, and he was sending money to put her in school. But her sisters decided not to put her in a school. They actually ended up taking her to an orphanage.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, mind you, the treatment was not good. So, all these castigos that she got,
We're from the orphanage?
yeah, she did a lot, or at least on me.
Oh my goodness.
That's where actually she got my name from. In the orphanage, there was a girl that was brought in, and she was from like somewhere out, and her name was Rossmary. So that's from where she chose my name from.
And it was her friend?
And it was her friend. Yeah, and so from her stories del internado, they were exact. The punishment was, and all this that I'm talking about in Chicle, las chanclas, era del orphanage. So she reflected everything that she did there with us.
That's insane. But like, why against you particularly? Do you think? Have you ever like?
So I did. So from my siblings, I had an older sister. She was 3 years older than I was. My sister was her daughter, but not my father's. And I remember that ever since we were little, she would always make a difference. Siempre. Ella decía, oh, es que tu papá la regaña a ella porque ella no es su hija y tú sí.
Girl.
Siempre. And like she would always make she would always mark that difference. And you want me to be honest? I felt like my father never made a difference. The only thing is we were different characters. Yo era más calmada and I always was obedient. My sister was more rebel, and I'm not talking bad about her, Simplemente era más, su carácter era más feisty. It's like my daughters now. I have, they're 2 different attitudes. But
you love them both the same.
Yeah, and I never felt that my father, but my mom would always make sure to mark that difference. Because I recall ever since I was little que ella decía, oh, tú a ella no le dices porque esa es tu hija. Y siempre lo hizo, like siempre. And I don't know why, because I always question myself, why? Si no fue mi culpa.
Right.
You decided to marry my dad. You had me, but I didn't choose to be here. Like, it's as if she were to blame me, right?
Do you think she was almost jealous of you?
Yeah, it could be. I think there's a lot of things that happen.
Like your dad's love?
Yeah, because even till the day today, things happen. Yeah, we see it. Y pues, I remember, like I said, the abuse was, when we were little. I remember her waking us up at 5 a.m. to clean. And again, the things that she would do in el internado.
¿Tu sister también?
No, she was a little more lenient with my sister. Now, my sister did so she was 3 years older than I was, and my sister had kidney failure. So ever since my sister was 6 years old, she always had health issues.
Okay.
Mind you, she would get the yelling and stuff, but not so much the physical abuse. Just because también physically, my sister was always ill.
Was she functional, like normal, or
She was,
what was?
she was functional.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was, I
But
guess.
was that wrong? Is that wrong? How to say that?
No, like you meant like was she physically able, like
Yeah,
normal?
like was she like normal and she was able to do it, like, yeah.
Sí, como para hacer chores, por ejemplo, right? Yeah, she was.
Okay.
She was. So I remember, mind you, we did have a rough childhood because my sister was ill. My mom never worked, and pues trabajaba mi papá nada más, right? Y pues we did have a hard childhood. I remember one summer, specifically one summer. I don't know why. We were very little, but I remember it was super hot. It was one of those, back in the time, those summers were terribly hot.
Yeah.
And I remember we didn't have AC. We only had AC in one room, which was the room where my parents would sleep. Y mi papá se fue a trabajar, and I remember that we got locked all in there that one summer.
Okay.
And I remember que no teníamos mucho que comer. And all we ate all day was beans and just like tortilla chips. Todo el día, because we didn't have anything else to eat.
Yeah, you guys were stuck in that room.
And I remember we did have a hard, we were humble. We didn't have a lot of money to eat because yo me acuerdo que mi mamá, oh my God, cómo me daba vergüenza. Pero, I mean, and I don't judge her, right? But my dad, for some reason, had a lot of coins, like change, all the time because he would take the bus to work. Y me acuerdo que me daba una bolsita mi mamá de puros pennies.
Oh my goodness.
Y me mandaba a la tienda solita de la esquina a comprar, so I don't know if you guys ever ate this. It might sound disgusting, but it was very cheap and it was very abundant. So this is what she would feed us. It's liver, like duck liver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hígado, ¿verdad?
Sí, so my mom used to call it.
Hispanics do.
Yeah, my mom used to call it pate. Because it's like a duck liver, it's like a spread. It's like pink. It's kind of, yeah.
Oh, no, it would be like the actual liver.
Liver, like hígado de res.
Sí.
No, this is
It's different.
It's different. This is duck liver y lo hacen como un spread. So era como un choricito que me mandaba a comprar y compraba pan. And I remember that even for that's what she would give us to eat a lot. And then for field trips, girl, she would give me that crap. I remember, which I don't, it was disgusting to me, but pues gracias a Dios teníamos que comer, right? Pero me acuerdo que...
¿No te gustaba el sabor tampoco?
No, I think we ate so much que ya me había aburrido because she would put it for some reason, with butter. Y me acuerdo que back in that time, the Lunchables came out. You remember the Lunchables?
Oh, sí.
Girl, yo me moría por un Lunchable. Sí.
Y ahora sabes que es puro garbage.
Y sí, ahora ya. Y pues a mí me tocaban los sándwiches de paté, girl. Y luego el paté, I would feel like made by like mouth smell. So yo cuando lo comía trataba que nadie se acercara a hablarme because yo sentía que me dolía la boca del liver. So yeah, I mean, my dad was, he had a job and he provided what he was able to. I think throughout my life until I kind of grew older and I started to analyze a lot of things, I always, ¿cómo se dice? Siempre le tuve mucho más afecto a mi papá que a mi mamá. I had a lot of respect for him y como que siempre lo consideré mucho. I always said, oh, well, mi papá, always worked. I always justified him, right? A lot. Because he worked and he provided and pues, that's what I would see, right? Meanwhile, though, my mom, when we were home, she would abuse us. And I remember that every time my dad would get home, would get home at 5 p.m.
Okay.
Todos los días, like rutina. And I remember less that I would hear the keys de mi papá de lejos. Yo oía his keychain.
Yeah.
Y to me, it was like, oh, ya nos salvamos. Oh. Because ella no nos pegaba cuando él estaba. No, y ella nos amenazaba because we couldn't tell him.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, like, you guys never told him as a kid.
No. And so, like, I guess in a way, too, I when I grew up later on, I said to myself, why did my dad, like, I know he knew somewhat, he knew.
You think he knew a little bit what was going on?
He knew because I remember I was 13 years old or 12, I think. And I remember one day, te digo que mi mamá me tenía mucho coraje. And I remember coming in her room, and I don't know why she was mad at me. But something my mom would always do besides like hit us y que no le dijéramos a mi papá. Cuando ella quería, ella venía y le decía a mi papá para que a ver si mi papá se enojaba y como que nos volvía a regañar. Pero mind you, yo no podía decir nada, right? Yo no le podía decir, pero es que fue así. O, no, yo tenía que quedarme callada.
Oh, to her version.
Yes, y ver si a ver, somehow she would convince him to get mad y que me pegara él también, right? Pero mi papá, fíjate que mi papá nunca nos pegó like that. Like siempre, mi hija, solo me acuerdo que me decía, hija, hazle caso a tu mamá para que no te regañe. Y eso en vez de a ella le daba más coraje.
Oh my
A ella le daba más coraje.
Es como que esperaba que también te pegara.
Sí, y recuerdo que una vez ella me llama al cuarto, estaban ellos dos acostados en su cuarto y me dice, I remember less exactly what I was wearing. I remember I always had to wear like passed down clothes from people, from my like cousins or second store clothes, right? And I will never forget I was wearing an Old Navy jean that was like, it was actually boys because it had cargo like pockets.
Oh, sí, sí, sí.
Y a white turtleneck. Why? I don't know, but I remember my outfit that day. Y recuerdo que me llama mi mamá al cuarto y no sé qué me dijo. Y yo le dije, ok. Y me dijo, and I remember clearly que ella me dijo, y si a ti no te gusta, el día que cumplas 18 años tú te puedes ir. Y entonces yo le dije, ok. Y me dijo, entonces mi papá did not like that. Y le dijo in front of me, ¿estás segura de lo que tú le estás diciendo a ella? And the fact that my father questioned her in front of me, that triggered my mom.
Oh, I bet. Was that the only time he ever did that? Like
yes, because she was very careful what to tell, what to say and do in front of him. And I will never forget que ella le dije, entonces como mi papá dijo eso, to me it was like, I felt supported, right? In a way.
Safe a little bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
y que le dije, y yo me acuerdo que yo voy con la que le digo, luego no te preocupes, yo cuando cumple 18 años yo me voy a ir.
No, girl, le echaste más fuego a la... ¿O cómo se dice?
Sí, a la leña, al fuego. Y all I remember this is she punched me so hard I passed out.
In front of your dad?
Yeah. She punched me so hard, I passed out completely. I don't remember anything. All I remember is when I woke up in my bed full of blood.
Girl.
My father had carried me to my room y pues completamente estaba ensangrentada, me había quebrado la nariz. Pero mira cómo son las cosas, Les. Like this is, so now that I'm older, obviously, my mom's a narcissist. I think I was like 11 years old.
Oh my, I'm thinking like you were about to turn like 18 or
no,
a teenager.
No, I was little, yeah.
And so you discovered that she was a narcissist.
Well, I discovered she became a narcissist now that I'm older, that I had a narcissistic relationship, right? And which kind of brings me now, and the reason why I say this, right? I think it's important to always know, when we all get into a narcissistic relationship, there's always a why behind it. And I discovered my why,
Yeah.
I think hubieron muchas heridas de mi infancia que yo nunca curé. I never got treatment. I never got therapy.
Right.
And, and you reflect that in your adulthood. And this is why you end up with people, you don't see the red flags.
Right.
And I didn't even realize myself that my mom was a narcissist until I got into the narcissistic relationship. But now that I analyze my childhood, listen to the narcissist thing that my mom did. So she knocks me out. My father obviously, picks me up, me llevó a la cama, and he was, eating me, right?
Yes.
Well, her reaction was leave the house and disappear.
Herself.
Yes. So su reacción de ella fue irse caminando sola en el parque, and mind you, my oldest sister siempre fue muy apegada a mi mamá, because por su enfermedad, por lo que tú quieras. And I remember her saying, mi mamá se fue, no la encontramos. Like, she deviated what she had done.
She made it about her.
And that was all the time. All the time.
Was that one of the first moments you realized that part, that like it kind of like reflect, she kind of like made a situation that she
Yo
did
no
about
sé,
her
Les. I never obviously realized it was narcissist.
at the moment.
And no, I didn't. Only thing I can tell you is I
okay.
think God was always helping me. And I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you why. Ever since I was little, Les, I identified what she would do. How and why, I don't know. I don't understand. But I remember how she would manipulate my father. You know, you have no idea how many times my mom se hacía la enferma. So I discovered too that she also has the syndrome of, it's, you know, that Gypsy Rose story?
Yes.
Okay, my mom has
actually
that.
somewhat.
Okay, so my mom has some of that. Ella sola se diagnostica, ella sola se enferma, and she always, everything had always been around that.
About,
Yeah.
okay.
I remember, and I remember que ella se desmayaba and we would have to call the ambulance. Y yo sabía que she was fine.
Dang, that bill must have been expensive.
Well, mind you, that was where it all came to. Y entonces, a mí me daba mucho coraje porque mi papá de por sí no tenía dinero para darnos de comer. We always had to wear clothes de la segunda because he couldn't afford it, right? Yo no le tengo coraje por eso. Gracias a Dios, I think that's why we grow to be more grateful.
Absolutely.
Pero I would, you know, I felt like instead of supporting him, she was just bringing him down. And I remember que there's a specific one occasion that I will never forget. Again, my mom le pegó a mi hermano, and she hit him so bad that she felt guilty about it, okay? So her response again was do something to deviate, correct? So this time, hizo que se desmayó la señora.
Right there and then.
Yes. And I remember this que se desmaya, and I didn't do anything. I was just staring at her because I knew that she did it purposely.
Right. At this point, how old were you?
I think I was like 10 years old because we were still young. Y recuerdo que ella se tira al piso. Y me acuerdo que yo no le hice caso. I'm staring at her. Y mi hermana la grande le decía, Mommy, please wake up, open your eyes. Y mi hermano, pues como que entre asustado, not sure he was behind me.
The one that got hit?
The one that got hit.
Okay.
Y entonces yo me acuerdo que yo solo la miraba y entre mí yo decía, Les, like, you're lying. Like, you're lying because you just hit my brother so bad that you're trying to justify what you did.
Oh my, this was going through
In my
your
head,
at
sí.
10 years old.
Yeah. And I remember que, pues, entonces llega la ambulancia, of course, y yo no hice nada. Mi hermana se enojaba mucho conmigo y me decía, you're not doing anything, and ella sí se asustaba. Ella sí le creía. Entonces, remember que siempre llega primero a veces los bomberos antes que the ambulance. And I remember que, you know, they're not dumb. They check your dilation, your pupils, they check your pulse, and they could tell that she was faking it. Entonces, it was hilarious, girl. Yes, it was hilarious. Now I say it, it's funny, but listen. So, se dan cuenta that she's faking it, right? Girl, yo estaba que me moría de la risa. Like, but of course, no me vaya a ver porque se me va a chingar, right?
Yes.
Yo dije, ha, ha. In my head, I'm thinking, I told you. And you have no idea. To me, I feel like to me that moment, maybe I remember it a lot because it proved to me that I wasn't wrong. I think it proved to me that my thoughts y lo que yo estaba sintiendo was legit. Yo no, you know what I mean?
Like you weren't exaggerating, like you
No,
weren't like seeing
listen, it was hilarious porque llega el bombero y le dice, Miss Garfias, open your eyes, you're fine, get up, come on. Girl, y ella como no le hacía caso al bombero, she started shaking. Y luego she started to bubble up her mouth. Girl, yo no sé de dónde miraba tanta novela mi mamá, because antes no había Netflix, girl. She started going like bubbling her saliva para hacer como que, y girl, no había hecho nada, like, you know. Y me acuerdo que no hizo caso, pues ándale, ¿qué crees que hicieron? So when someone's unconscious, they will make you sniff ammonia. And that will wake you up, girl. I actually know what it feels like porque years ago I was the swim team. I was swimming, and long story short, they did a joke on me and they made me sniff it. And I swear that's what it feels. You know what it feels like if they punch your brain.
Stop.
So it gives you this punch to. So basically, if she would have been unconscious, la hubiera solamente despertado, ¿cierto? But because she was conscious, it hurt it, right? So she goes. Ah!
Oh my God.
Ah! and she, girl, así se levantó del piso. It was hilarious. Girl, las bobos were
Y
gone.
todos ahí.
Girl, yo estaba que me reía. Te juro que yo dije, ja. In
Was
my
this
head.
outside or,
Inside
like,
in our
inside
house.
your house?
Yeah, porque ella se había hecho la tirada en el cuarto, girl.
Oh, okay.
Y me acuerdo que to me it was like, ha ha. Like,
Oh my
in my head,
God,
because I'm thinking,
yeah.
I proved you wrong. Like, I told you you were
I
faking
told you
it.
you were faking
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So at that point, was your dad there?
No, my father was working y él, ya sabes, girl, we had like memorized. El trabajo de mi papá le llamábamos 1000 veces al día al pobrecito.
Pues yo creo también por eso, was it the ambulance? Like they kind of like low-key have been there a few times that they kind of knew
Yeah,
the
and then mind you,
situation a little bit.
ambulances, I don't know about here in Rockford. I grew up in Chicago. Ambulances are private. They're not part of, so they're not covered by your, like insurance. They're private.
Oh, no wonder why they're so expensive.
Yes. So el bill de ellos siempre es separado a lo del hospital porque es privado.
Okay.
Entonces recuerdo que, pues, I thought to myself, like, jaja, like, yo dije entre mí para que se te quite, ¿ves? Girl, después de ese día no lo volví a hacer. So she would do other things, pero eso no.
Eso ya no.
No.
He said, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, y te digo, yo no sé por qué o cómo, pero siempre yo hasta que un día I made the mistake. I made the huge mistake to tell her. I will never forget.
As an adult?
No, I was like 12 years old. I told her. I remember holding the door for her, and I got so fed up with her just lying about her being sick. We went through a lot. Besides her abuse, besides we didn't have a lot of things to eat. My sister was always sick. And we had to sacrifice a lot. I remember, my sister had, at one point of her life, she was many times of her life, she was in dialysis. Okay. Dialysis, we had to take her 3 times a week. And we had to tag along.
Right.
And mind you, my mom would never drive, so we had to take a bus, 2 buses. Girl, yo me moría porque a mí me daba mucho car sick.
Oh, I hate that. Same.
And it was terrible. Y recuerdo que me llegaba bien car sick al hospital. Y luego we had to be there for a few hours. And I remember que a mi hermana le daban de comer ahí en el hospital because...
Oh, 1 second, it stopped recording. I think we can just record again, no? Yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay. So you guys were saying you guys go to the hospital, right, for your sister?
Yeah, we would go to the hospital 3 times a week. And I remember getting car sick on the way there because we would take buses, whether winter, hot, or whatever the weather was, right? And we would have to sit there and wait for her to get her dialysis done. And I remember que cuando ella terminaba el hospital le daba comida, pero solo le daba comida a ella. And we didn't have anything to eat. Oh my God. I remember cómo se me antojaba la comida del hospital. Like, those kind of things that as a kid you don't understand.
Yeah.
Y cómo se me antojaba because we were hungry. And, my mom didn't have money to back then to buy hospital food, which is expensive.
Right.
Or they had opened the McDonald's menos.
Right.
I, as a kid, never ate McDonald's. The only 2 occasions that I would ever eat McDonald's was, one, because my aunt would make her daughter's birthday parties there.
At McDonald's?
Yeah,
oh,
back
they
then.
Had birthday parties at McDonald's?
Back then they had how they had the little playgrounds. Well, you could do your kid's birthday party. So that aunt was, which is funny because that aunt is the aunt for that trucking company that I talked to you about. That's a whole other story.
Yeah, you got a lot of stories.
I know. And so, and the only other time was when my father would take us on bike rides. He would take us and we would swing by a McDonald's and he would buy us an ice cream cone though.
Pero no comida.
No comida. No. And I remember que él ni nos dejaba entrar al McDonald's porque pues se nos iba a antojar. So él salía con the 10 cents ice cream cone. Back then it was 10 cents. Y so me acuerdo que nosotros pasábamos hambre, and of course I would understand though that my sister had to eat because she had just gotten dialysis,
Right. Like your mom had to choose who needed it the most at that moment.
Well, y el hospital se lo daba a ella,
Oh, so it was food from the hospital.
The hospital que le daba a ella para que ella, como se mareaba, no se fuera a desmayar.
Oh, okay.
But we would see it. We would just sit there and watch her.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I thought she would pack it and like,
No,
okay.
no, and so, y ya pues otra vez, hop on the bus. El car sick, girl. It was bad. Y pues yo, yo miraba, that's why I would always get so frustrated with her doing what she would do, because mi papá de por sí no la alcanzaba, y te digo que un día me atreví a decirle que ella se hacía, que todo lo que ella hacía era para hacerse, y que no era fair to my father. I think her grudge against me grew bigger from that moment on. Because from that moment on, yo no podía ni alzar la mirada, because she would say that I was flipping my eyes at her and she would punch me. So like the abuse was more, because a mí se me ocurrió decirle eso. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, eso de mi hermana was, not easy, One of the things, and the reason why too I told her that was because I think I got really upset. I was young, and I recall my sister had created, su cuerpo había hecho her buttocks, her butt, right? Her actual butt. Because of the medicine that she would drink, se le hicieron como unos, like pimples less, but they were like cysts.
Okay.
But they were so big that they had to surgically remove them. But these cysts would leave holes in her butt.
Okay.
And the holes were at least 3 inches deep. And like 2 yes, so eran hondos down and then round, like a diameter.
Pobrecita.
I remember que ella gritaba tanto, so she had to get those things cleaned twice a day, in the morning y en la noche. So eran hoyos, literally hoyos, right? And they would fill them up with like spaghetti gauze, que estaba revuelto como con una crema. So every morning I would hear her get cleaned, and she would have to grab a pillow and bite it.
How old was your sister when I know you said she was diagnosed at 6, right?
Yeah, she was only 3 years older than me. So she was probably 12 cuando yo tenía 9. Y recuerdo que gritaba muy feo. Like, it was just so agonizing to listen to her yell. So in one of these episodes, de mi mamá tratar de llamar la atención, because I felt like she always competed with my sister. Según ella, estaba enferma y no tenía nada. Every time she would be in the hospital, she ended up having nothing.
Like
nothing.
the doctors would tell her.
It's just a flu, it's just nothing. Pero ella se hacía que todo lo dolía porque a ella le gustaba que le hicieran los exámenes. And en este tiempo, mi hermana tenía eso, that you had to clean her twice a day. So mi mamá sale con eso, and guess who had to clean my sister?
You did.
I did. And it was terrible. I couldn't. Like, my hands would shake. Like, I couldn't. You had to be rough because, if not, she would create this, like, yellow lining that could cause infection. And I couldn't. It was terrible. And,
Mind you 9 years old.
9 years old, it was so bad. Like, her yelling, it was bad. So por eso yo me atreví a decirle eso a mi mamá. And it was
girl. From there.
From there, it was bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Híjole. And this is all of you, like early
This
years.
is me early.
You.
Yeah.
Not even like counting like your teenage years or any of
No,
that.
this was me early. I remember early too. My mom always also, something I never understood is why did not anyone say anything? Because my mom was public. My mom nos pegaba enfrente de la gente.
Pues tu friend. I mean, this all
Sí,
started
nunca, mi mamá never was investigated by DFS.
Stop it.
Nunca.
Right now.
Nunca. In one occasion, I will never forget my mom. So my mom, aparte de que los castigaba como ella la castigaba, I will never forget, one of the things that my mom always told me was, para que tú sientas lo que yo sentía.
Oh, heck no.
That's always a saying that my mom has always had. I remember every time she would hurt us, she would hurt me, she would tell me that.
So that was just obvious childhood trauma
from her
and wanted
passing it on
to take
to
it
me.
Down to you and your siblings, right?
Yeah, and mainly with me, right? Y yo me acuerdo que ella siempre me decía eso, para que, tú sientas lo que yo sentía.
Wow. Have you ever heard of what is it called? Generational bloodline curses that are passed down.
I watched a movie. I don't know if it's a movie, Les, or a series. And me llamó mucho la atención porque this one is about like from your ancestors, things that get passed down through your ancestors, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because I believe, because okay, thinking about it from what you told me, technically your mom wasn't abused by her own parents, but she was abused obviously through an orphanage. But if you think about it, she was pregnant while your grandma was going through all of this
Yeah.
depression, and when we're pregnant, our babies feel everything. And also the DNA that's in there, it passes down to generations. And something I've learned is that unfortunately we do have like there is like bloodline curses that are passed down to our generations, and our job is to break them, find them, and unfortunately those, not unfortunately but fortunately, because there is a way to break them, is there's certain way, like in the Bible, there's a part where when Jesus gives his disciples authority to perform miracles and to perform like remove demons and heal people. And there's a part where a dad comes to Jesus and brings his son. His son is deaf and dumb. That's what they called it in the like back then, cuando no podían hablar. And he says like, your disciples couldn't heal my son. So then Jesus, he kind of gets like, I don't want to say irritated, but he's like, what did he say? Lame and I think unfaithful generation or something like that. Hold on, I'm gonna cough. He says, with no faith, right? And then he performs a miracle. The disciples then later on ask him, how come you were able to do it and not us? And Jesus says these type of demons can only be taken out by fasting and prayer. And so what I've learned is that those sorts of like generational curses, we can only be taken out by fasting and prayer and denouncing them, like removing them from us. Like we have to not claim them, because we truly do have some stuff that we don't even know about.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion and my experience, right? What I can tell you is it can be broken, because I did not do what my mom did to me. You know, I think into the total contrary. As an adult, I started to learn a lot. I started to learn that a lot of my traumas as a kid, you know, I reflected as an adult. For example, I'm scared of the dark. I normally don't like to be in the dark outside, like even outside, like going out and stuff. There's always been something that I just rather go home, be home, safe.
Yeah.
And I realized, you know, one of the many episodes with my mom, I was like 8 years old, and in one of these occasions where we had taken my sister to get dialysis done. We lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, and my mom's father actually lived with us.
Okay.
And in one of the bedrooms se dormía mi abuelo, and then the other one was my parents, and we would sleep in the sala. I remember that. Remember how I told you we were always very humble? We didn't have food to eat and stuff. Somehow my father was able to finance a TV and a stereo, a radio. And I remember that day, we come back from dialysis, right? Y cuando llegamos, la puerta estaba tumbada.
Oh.
And you want to hear something kind of like just funny, but at the same time, it makes you think, right? So se habían metido a robar. Se habían metido a robar y habían tumbado la puerta. Y mind you, mi abuelo estaba en su cuarto. But the reason why my grandfather never got up to go check who had knocked the door down was because he thought it was my mom. He thought that the whole commotion y que todo había sido mi mamá. Y como él sabía que nos pegaba y todo eso, he didn't bother to get up.
He was used to it.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that the thieves, when they first were, because they stole a lot of things, but left things on the way out, I'm assuming they realized I noticed my grandfather was in there. Gracias a Dios no le pasó
No le
nada.
hicieron nada.
No. So cuando nosotros llegamos, I was littlest. I remember que a mí me encantaba jugar con I remember the color of cash register. It was color beige, girl. Y tenía los botones que hacían ruido. Ta, 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 ta. I used to always like to play cash register. I always had wanted to be a cash register when I was little, right? Y me acuerdo que me acababan de comprar una. Y recuerdo mucho que ese día que llegamos, todo estaba tirado. Todo. Wow. Es que ellos, they had shoved everything. Y yo me asusté mucho. Yo me asusté mucho just the thought of, oh my God, these are in my house. Y recuerdo que yo me asusté mucho que I was scared to death. Like, yo no quería ir al baño porque yo sentía que el thief estaba en la tina, acostado.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, like, yo no quería abrir un closet que sentía que el thief estaba dentro del closet.
Yeah.
It was bad. And I remember que yo le rogaba a mi mamá que por favor me dejara dormir con ella. I remember I couldn't, like, me estaba orinando y yo prefería casi aguantarme y no ir al baño porque tenía mucho miedo.
Yeah, que saliera o
Sí,
algo.
well, my mom being my mom, right? Not the most caring. I will never forget que, so vivíamos en este edificio de dos cuartos. We were in the second floor. And we lived in Chicago. The apartment buildings have alleys. And they're scary as heck, right? Because they're alleys, huelen feo, hay ratones. I will never forget que me manda a tirar la basura. Our back porch, like the stairs downstairs, was pitch black.
At
Pitch
night.
black, sí. Like even at day estaba cerrado el back. And so salías hasta que salías a la puerta, al alley. Y yo le tenía un terror. Y yo de por sí le teníamos mucho miedo because we lived near a high school y los high schoolers se metían mucho ahí abajo a fumar y a tomar.
Oh.
So yo le tenía mucho miedo as it is. But I will never forget que me dijo, oh sí, dice, pues ahora vas a ir a tirar la basura. Her thought of quitarme el miedo era, I'm going to make her do it.
Like she wanted to throw you like in the water, basically.
Yeah.
Like teach you how to
Y
swim
entonces
that
yo
way.
me acuerdo que le dije, Mom, por favor, yo sí recuerdo rogarle. Like, yo me acuerdo que I went ballistic. Like, I remember going crazy, hysterical, because yo no quería ir a sacar la basura. Y recuerdo es que agarra y me tira afuera con la bolsa de basura. Y me tira, like, she grabs me from my hair y me tiró y me aventó con la bolsa de basura. Y me cierra la puerta. Y me acuerdo que me dijo, si tú no sacas esa basura, ya sabes lo que te va a pasar.
Oh.
Now, mind you, my mom in that time too, besides beating us, ella nos quemaba. Like,
Quemaba, girl. What?
so ella nos ponía una bandana en la boca y nos ponía las manos in the fire. So yo decía, like,
Are you serious?
yeah, ella nos quemaba. So yo decía, oh, shit, like, you know, like, ¿qué me va a hacer ahora? Because ella ya nos estaba quemando.
Like what's next, right?
Yeah, entonces yo me acuerdo que ella nunca me abrió la puerta. So I'm like, shit, I have to do this. Like, yo me acuerdo que corrí tan rápido que I slipped, like, you know, like, it smelled like, it would always smell like crap. I will never forget that smell of garbage, you know? Y salí tan rápido que recuerdo que abrí la puerta, aventé la bolsa de basura y me subí y tocaba la puerta para que me abriera la puerta. Y creo que todo me pasó porque, pues, you know, y sí, she ended up still hitting me.
Why?
Porque, pues, yo estaba llorando como loca.
Oh my goodness.
Now, one of those so now, lo que te digo ahora, like, now I understand why yo le tengo miedo a la oscuridad.
Right, right.
You know, like, yeah, because también...
You put two and two.
Sí, those are the kind of things that I start to, like, you know, realize, you know, like, okay, ahora entiendo por qué le tengo miedo a la oscuridad. Pero, yeah, like, yeah, she was very, you know, and some things era no tan mala. Now, I think I just try to justify it, right? But, like, I remember que mi mamá, sea lo que sea, siempre nos cocinaba comida. Nada más que, even in that, también era muy exagerada. Like, in the mornings, mi mamá nos hacía desayunar siempre. Y we had to eat lo que ella nos servía. Lo único que mi mamá tenía era que mi mamá era muy vasta. She would overload her plates. And we had to eat it. Because holy crap if we didn't eat her food. I will never forget a mi hermana, la mayor. She did oatmeal one day. And my sister, pues, she was super petite because, mind you, my sister always had health issues. Y recuerdo es que mi hermana no se lo quiso comer porque no quería, no le entraba, right? Well, she got so mad at her que le tiró la avena en el pelo. And she forced my sister to go to school with her hair like that. Like, she always humiliated like us like that. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm telling you, why did not anyone do anything about it? I also recall my brother, for a very long time, which honestly now I know it's ignorance de ella. Mi hermano for a long time would pee in the bed. And you know that's a psychological issue.
Yeah.
Y se orinaba mucho. Well, un día, como she got so fed up with him porque le pegaban, it wouldn't work, I guess. Lo mandó a la escuela ya grandecito because we were in first grade. Cuando lo mandó en pañal. And I remember my brother walking like with his legs wide open como para que no se le escuchara el pañal.
Oh.
So she was very brutal.
Like no se podía, like he couldn't take off the diaper?
No,
Like,
oh no. Y es que, ¿sabes algo? Era tanto el miedo que le teníamos las que we wouldn't rebel. Like,
oh, you
we
wouldn't
would do
even
it.
dare to
No,
oh,
no.
my goodness.
I will never forget. Y now, another like now, like sometimes, como mucha gente me dice, como yo soy muy a veces reservada when I dress, and I'm always like, but I think again people don't understand where we come from, right? When I was a kid, I remember I used to love this damn hunter green romper.
A romper?
A romper. I think I was like 9 years old, so we're around there. Ese romper me lo habían regalado de la ropa usada, pero I loved it. No sé qué era, pero me encantaba el romper. Era de shorts,
Okay.
pero to my mom's eyes, it was too short. Y yo recuerdo que a mí me encantaba el romper, like me gustaba mucho el romper. Y recuerdo que la desobedecí. Ella me dijo que no me lo podía poner y yo no me lo quité. So, you know what she did? Me sacó desnuda a la calle.
¿Desnuda? Girl?
Desnuda. ¿Y sabes algo? Now I think about it, pero es triste because as a kid yo me moría. Te juro que me daba, o sea, me moría de vergüenza. Yo sentía que todo el mundo me estaba mirando, y eso es lo que ella quería que yo sintiera. Pero lo irónico es que now as an adult, si yo veo una mamá sacar a su hija, yo no la voy a juzgar a la niña, yo voy a juzgar a la mamá. Pero como niño, tú no sabes eso, Ella fue así muy...
And how old were you?
like 9. Yo ya estaba grandecita.
And you were outside in the street.
Me sacó desnuda, yeah. Like literally me acuerdo que
and
me
she
hizo
went
caminar.
outside?
Sí, íbamos a salir y me hizo caminar desde el building donde estábamos viviendo hasta 2 blocks donde estaba el carro parqueado con mi papá.
Oh my God.
Now, my
Your
dad was
dad
there.
was there?
Yes. So, I think with the years, yo justificaba a mi papá, for many years. Porque él trabajaba y pues, I think a él se le hizo más cómodo ignorar las cosas. Pero mucho tiempo después pensé, yo decía, if my father would have put a stop to it, maybe she could have, but he didn't. He never did.
Until this day, like, you guys have never talked about it?
A few years ago, back in 2016, my father really never knew everything that went on. So, of course, like I had told you, she would make us lie and we couldn't tell him. So, con los años las cosas fueron pasando y simplemente no se le dijo nada, right? A todo esto, I got married young. I got married when I was 16 years old. I decided to leave my house. You can understand why.
Why? Yeah.
I don't justify it, right? But that's the decision I made
Yeah, it
wrongfully.
pushed you to it, yeah.
Wrongfully I made it. Again, mi mamá decía que porque yo era una puta, que porque yo era una cualquiera, y honestamente yo no sabía ni lo que era el sexo. Yo me quería ir de mi casa.
You just wanted to get
Yeah.
away from her.
Y pues desafortunadamente, por haberme ido de mi casa, me fui mal, right? I was young, I was naive, because in all of this too, as a kid, my mom always had us in a bubble. Not only would she abuse us and she would scare us, but my mom would never really allow us. We weren't allowed to watch soap operas. We weren't allowed to watch scary movies. We weren't allowed to do a lot of things. So I honestly grew up in a bubble. I thought that things that were in movies were just all fake. You know, like there's a lot of things that I didn't realize that the real world really had. And I think that's a bad thing. Now, I mean, that's why I talk to my kids a lot now, right?
Yeah.
Y cuando cuando yo me voy, yo me voy, of course, I didn't choose correctly, right? And I made the bad decision of leaving. Y recuerdo que todavía mi mamá decía eso, que yo me había ido por eso y pues no había sido por eso. Pero I think, I remember she would still try to hit me even when I was already
Already married and gone.
She even tried to call the police on me, I remember. And I think it was a whole episode of her realizing that she had no control over me anymore, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like your childhood is a really big, I guess like a, ¿cómo se dice? Like proof of the same person, the same situation can choose two different like paths, you know? Like either one can choose like using that as this is the reason why I'm like this. You know, like for example, like your mom like going through the abuse in the orphanage and then she later on abused you guys. Versus you being like, that's why I don't want to be like that with my children.
Yeah.
You know, because we really do have
a choice.
We have a choice. We either we do the same and we make victim out of ourselves, or we make it our motivation to do the complete opposite, you know, and better ourselves.
Yeah. Well, with the story que te contaba de mi amiga, this happened in high school. I remember, so one of her, my mom being who my mom was, thank God she'd allowed me to play sports. I think that was one of my ways to like be free. I think maybe that's why too I'm so supportive of my kids to be in sports. I was playing sports and specifically en este caso estaba jugando soccer. Y yo no recuerdo, ¿sabes, Les? No recuerdo exactamente en la ocasión que me dice Claudio that she hit me, que ella vio. Solo sí recuerdo specifically that we were good at soccer and my mom was so strict. I lived across the high school. And mind you, she never bothered to go see me play. Like none of my parents ever went to my games. Pero yet, she would make me, so every time I left practice, my coach had to sign a paper and say, Rosemary's leaving from this time from the field, and I had only 3 minutes to get to my house.
She coordinated that with your coach?
Yeah. Y ese día, she had gotten mad at me, y ella me dijo que yo tenía que estar en la casa a las 5:30. And mind you, I was in like a championship game. And I remember que I was a midfield, I was in the game, te juro que yo lo único que miraba era el reloj.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember que we went overtime, so of course que yo me pasé. And we were all in such a rush que yo me fui y no se me olvidó pedirle al coach que me firmara el papel.
Oh no.
Yes. Para chingarla. So me fui a mi casa y me metió una friega. And then she told me that the next day I couldn't go to school or go play. And the next game, it was back in the time, it was you win one and then you move up and play the next day. Because I think we were like in city champs or something like that. Y recuerdo que, girl, yo me levanté y one of the things, I want to backtrack a little bit. In my freshman year, mi mamá me cortó el pelo como un niño. I don't know why she did it, but my hair was down to my waist. One day she takes me to the thing, tells me she's gonna trim my hair, and she tells the lady to chop off my hair. So, to me it was a hard thing because I was in high school. I would get bullied and they would call me lesbian. In soccer too, like the girls were so rough because, I had my hair short and yeah, I remember that was kind of tough on me too. And so then the next day iba a jugar. I wake up, girl, yo tenía mi uniforme, yo no hallaba cómo ponérmelo y ella siempre se levantaba tarde, so no me miraba irme a la escuela. So yo dije, like, me voy a cambiar, I'm gonna like go, Y I think she knew, or my sister told on me.
Oh, your sister. Was she going to high school with you?
She was, because she was 3 years older than me, so she was, I think, 2 years above me. Y le dijo a mi mamá that I had the soccer, because it was a thing back then, que cuando tú jugabas, during the day, te ponías tu jersey.
Right?
Yeah.
You still do that. My sister just, she plays in soccer y ya le están diciendo que that game, they play they put on the jersey.
Ajá. Y entonces recuerdo que mi mamá me ve this and she gets so mad.
So she woke up from your sister waking her up.
Yeah. She got so mad. Y solo recuerdo que we used to share a room with my sister. Y she like runs towards me. Mi mamá siempre fue una mujer heavy like 320 pounds, 300 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Y recuerdo es que vino y se me subió encima, así como estoy acostada ahí ahorita, yo la tenía aquí encima. I couldn't do anything. Y agarró un gancho, y los ganchos de como los dry cleaners que son como de...
The metal?
Ajá.
Yeah.
And she's just started to like hit me in my face.
Your face
So
is
se me,
crazy.
yeah, so se me empezó como a, pues I had cuts in my face, right? Y ya de tanto que le daba. And I remember that my sister didn't do anything. Like, no hizo nada to help me. Y pues finally she got off y todavía agarró a mi mamá y me saca a la calle, me aventó para afuera sin mi mochila. Y girl, ¿yo a dónde iba a ir? Like, I didn't have anywhere to go. And then, oh, mind you, my high school was across the street, right? So I didn't know where to go, so que me meto a la escuela así. And again, Liz, nobody ever did anything. Like, nobody ever questioned, like...
Nobody ever asked you,
no.
like, did you just get into a fire? Or, like, what
Nunca
happened?
nadie. And so...
Not even the teachers?
No. And, well, the teacher knew something had happened because I remember he was Puerto Rican. I can't remember Mr. Alvarez. Fíjate, ya me acordé. Se llamaba Mr. Alvarez. He was my biology teacher. Y entré a la clase and I remember I couldn't even talk. Like, I couldn't even talk. Y he goes, mija, ¿qué te pasó? That's all I remember que me dijo. And I couldn't talk. And he's like, just, you know what? Go behind the class. Y se mete a la clase and just help me in my desk, organize my desk. Pero, o sea, él me ayudó como para que se me pasara un poquito lo que tenía, pero nunca hizo nada, no hizo nada. Like,
y cuando estabas chiquita también los maestros, like, no veían tus, like,
no, I remember.
No te marks ni nada.
Sí, well, mira, in fourth grade, I will never forget in fourth grade, my mom always had this thing. So I, for some reason, had a lot of migraine headaches when I was young.
What do you mean for some reason, girl?
Well, mi mamá después decía que era porque yo quería llamar la atención. I remember que ellos me dijeron que era porque yo quería llamar la atención. Yeah, que porque yo quería llamar la atención, que porque mi hermana estaba enferma y yo quería sacar like attention. Y te juro que no era eso. Like, I remember having these headaches, but mind you, something my mom always had for some reason was every time she would hit me, she would drag me by my hair. And the more I would tell her to please stop, to not pull my hair, the more she would do it. Y recuerdo también que ella, ¿sabes qué hacía? Nos metía a la regadera con el agua fría. So she would turn on the water cold. Y nos metía y nos mojaba. Y en el shower nos pegaba con el cordón de la plancha. So it's rubber. So it burned. Like it would burn and it would cut your skin. Y yo recuerdo eso siempre no lo hizo, siempre. And I think she knew that it was just painful. Y recuerdo es que siempre que me hacía eso, el agua es tan fría que te da un dolor de cabeza muy fuerte. Well, in fourth grade, she did that to me. Me metió, one of the times, no sé por qué, me metió al shower, me pegó con el cordón de la plancha y me dejó aquí los brazos reventados. It was summer. I remember it was hot.
Te mandaba con long sleeve?
Me mandó con un long sleeve. I will never forget it was a white long sleeve porque we used to use uniform. We had to do white top, blue bottom. Y recuerdo que I was in fourth grade y se me olvidó we were doing, es que tenía tanto calor. I went like
naturally.
this. Yeah, I naturally went up and pulled up my sleeves. And I remember my teacher, her name was Miss Martinez. She sent me to the office. Pero, like, todo narcisista, my mom se había hecho amiga. She was part of the school council.
Oh.
This is very narcissistic, and I obviously learned this later on. Ella se había hecho amiga del principal, the vice principal. So they did question me. And one of the things my mom always had trained me was that I could never tell anyone, right? Because if I told someone, the government was going to take me away, but not only take me away and separate all of us as siblings, but they would take my older sister away and she would die.
Oh my, she guilt tripped you.
Yeah. And so yo, pues, obviamente, she came in right away y pues, you know, ella luego decía que yo me inventaba las cosas Y yo no me inventaba nada. And I'll tell you, psychologically, for a very long time, she made me like doubt myself.
Stop it.
Porque, pues, you know, they're so good at it. It's just she's very narcissistic, right? Y recuerdo que, y también, that was one of the occasions where someone could have done something y no hicieron nada. Like, nothing ever happened. That was that one time, and then high school también, que no, esa vez, I remember, my friend, que mira, ella se acuerda de algo que yo no me puedo acordar. Pero nunca. I had aunts. I had 2 aunts specifically that I remember she got into this thing. Ella se le ocurría cada cosa. Every time we weren't allowed, when we went to people's houses, we were not allowed to go to the rooms. You know how some kids, well, most kids have their toys in their rooms, right? But we weren't allowed to go in their rooms. Y recuerdo que esa vez we went to the room and played. Y ella nos regañó. And her punishment was for us to she would make us do squats in front of people.
In front of people?
Mm-hmm. So esa vez era en la casa de mi tía y nos regañó y como mi hermano y yo fuimos a jugar al cuarto cuando ella no nos dio permiso, she made us do 100 squats in front of them, in front of my cousins, in front of my aunt, porque pues si no nos pegaba. Y sabes que nunca hicieron nada, la gente nunca hizo nada.
And this is like your mom's side or your dad's side?
My mom's side.
Also, do you think like they kind of just knew that she was like that? Like they just thought
And they wouldn't do anything. Te digo, like, I don't understand why so many people like saw it and no one did anything to like, because maybe she would have held herself, you know, or which now that I've seen so many stories and Netflix documentaries, they never do. They just manipulate, you know, things and, you know, but they really never.
But that's crazy though, because like, how do you explain that to like a principal? Like, how do you like when they question that? Like, how do you make an excuse for that? Like, how do you say like, oh, what, she did it by herself or?
And now I can tell you, like, me going through abuse and not being listened or believed, right? When you ask a kid now, like, you need to understand they're gonna lie because they're threatened. Like, you know, you can't just. I think they do just such a terrible job, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's our job as parents though to talk to our kids because that does happen a lot. And I tell my kids all the time, like I straight up talk to my kids and I tell them like I use words like vagina and like penis. I'm like, nobody's to touch you here, and if they threaten you and say like they're gonna hurt mommy and pop, like nobody's gonna hurt us. Like I'm always like,
I did
God
too.
is always protecting us. Like nobody can overcome God, and I put that in their head because kids are kids and they don't want their siblings to get hurt, because that's literally what happened to you. You didn't want your sister to die. Literally, she made it worst case scenario.
Sí, so y pues, and honestly, that's why we never said anything.
Yeah, you just like sacrifice it, you know, and you take it. I don't know if have you ever heard Chiquis Rivera after like her whole abuse with her dad, how she basically kind of just was saying that she would just kind of take it and just she was just like praying that her dad didn't do it to her little sister.
To her sisters.
And that she would just kind of take it because one, it also at first was like had been happening for a while, and two, she didn't want the same thing to happen to her sister.
I remember una vez, my younger brother was already born. He was probably like 2 years old. By then, he was 2 and I'm 6 years older than him. So I was 8 years old and my brother was 7. That means my sister was 11, somewhere around there. Mi hermana, como siempre te he dicho, ha sido bien traviesa. Siempre fue bien rebelde, más atrevida a hacer muchas cosas, right? Maybe because she wouldn't get the beating as much as we would did. I think that's why se atrevía. Back then, mi papá trabajaba en un mall. Y sometimes traía muchas monedas. No sé por qué, pero traía monedas. Long story short, we lived in an apartment building. Mi hermana se hizo amiga de un muchacho mayor que ella en el building. Y empezó a robarse las monedas y se las regalaba al muchacho.
¿Al muchacho?
Sí. Y pues esta mensa yo pienso que nunca pensó que mis papás se iban a dar cuenta, ¿ok? And mind you, I think they did, but my mom, ya sabes. Porque quién más les, we would always be with my parents.
Yeah.
Pero ella empezó en esa etapa donde salíamos y ella se quería quedar en la casa. Y todo, y a nosotros sí nos llevaban, pero a ella sí la dejaban. Well, una vez mi papá se da cuenta que a bag is missing.
Ay, that scared me. Why my brother had some.
A bag of coins was missing. Y pues, girl, mi mamá empieza, ¿quién se robó las monedas? Pues, ¿quién se las iba a robar? Sin ni modo que se las robara. El niño chiquito se llama David. He was 2 years old. My brother that was, 7, o yo que tenía 8. Pero, ok, aquí nadie se va a ir hasta que no digan quién se las robó. Y me acuerdo que nos tenía ahí los 4, los 3, y el chiquito andaba, just wandering. Y pues no, yo no me veía, yo le tenía tanto miedo a mi mamá de niña que cuando ella me pegaba, yo nunca me atreví ni a decirle una mala palabra in my mouth, porque yo sentía que ella me lo escuchaba. I will never forget, ella algo que siempre hizo, que I think as an adult now I see, something I always, I can't stand my mom touching me. And I know she might hear this one day and I can't stand her touching me. When she hugs me, there's this feeling in my stomach I can't explain. But I will tell you that when I was a kid and she would beat me, every time she would beat me, she would then come and force me to hug her. Oh. And I remember that feeling in my stomach. And remember telling myself, talking to her, why do you make me do this when you just almost killed me? Y ella siempre me hacía eso, siempre. Entonces, I kind of lost my train of thought, but
yeah, but okay, I know that we're gonna leave this for part 2, but that makes me think that obviously builds some sort of resistance with your relationships too with men, where it's allowing that to happen.
Actually, to the contrary. So I think this is where I kind of go into how did I end up with narcissistic relationships.
Yeah.
In my personal experience as a mom, I actually did everything todo lo contrario.
Completely different.
For example, one of the things I can tell you, how I got my hair chopped out, girl, my daughters are free to do with their hair what they want. Yo de hecho, pregúntales, y creo que yo casi nunca les corto el pelo unless they ask me, hey mom, I need a trim. Pero es tanto como, because, I didn't like what they did to me, right?
Yeah.
Yo a mis hijos no les pego, they can tell you. Yo que sí es grito, yo sí les grito y los regaño, pero yo nunca les pego. I think as a mom, in this aspecto, hice todo lo opuesto. There are a lot of things que now I'm a little even more lenient with them, right?
Yeah.
I'm still, one of the things that I did do that they didn't do with me is talk to them a lot. Okay. And about everything. Pero in my personal life, and as a woman, I think that's where my childhood traumas affected me a lot more. My insecurities, I became a very insecure woman. Right. And I really didn't learn how to love myself. And I think that's where it kind of brought me into the marriage that I had.
Yeah.
And then finally the relationship that I had.
Right.
And that's, because unfortunately, I don't know if it's our culture too. We try to survive this. I can do this by myself. And we really never look for therapy. We really never get help to heal those traumas.
Yeah.
You kind of then I personally started to do it when I started to make mistakes, in my personal life with the relationships, and I started to question myself, okay, why am I choosing the wrong type of people? Why am I falling into this cycle? Right? And that's when I realized, okay, I need to go back in my life and analyze everything. And that's how I came to kind of,
Yeah, and sometimes honestly, God does put us to hit rock bottom and against the wall to actually be able to see that. And unfortunately, it's how you were saying, you didn't heal from it because you didn't know that there was healing to do.
Yeah.
I think maybe to you it was just kind of you were focused on the motherhood part too.
Yeah.
That like I'm gonna be completely opposite as a mom.
Yes.
Versus like as a woman, how it affected you too. And unfortunately, when we don't see those in there, when there's not information out there, or where we don't research,
Yeah.
then tends to happen, and then we mute that healing process to then later on, unfortunately, sometimes it just like spills over, that tipping point.
Yeah, I got to the
That can
point where
explode.
I couldn't understand why. And so I remember in my case, I did not look for therapy, unfortunately, but I ended up finding out because I started to read a book. I read a book, and I remember reading a book of a narcissistic relationship. And then I said to myself, holy smokes, like this is my life. Yeah. And so then that's what took me to start Googling and like searching what is a narcissist. And that's kind of how I went back in my life, and I realized, oh, like that's what my mom, yeah. And that's why it kind of led to me, later on in my personal life to affect me.
How's your relationship now with her?
Well, with my mom. So at the end of the day, I have no one to judge her, right? I don't. And the way that I cope with her, usually with narcissists, the way to end relationships is zero contact. But unfortunately, she's my mom.
Right.
So my relationship with her is I distance.
Okay.
So my mom's in Chicago. I live here. She comes out every once in a while. I will say my mom texts me every morning, every night. Buenos días, buenas noches. I do respond, but that's it. I do my own thing. I do my own life. I do. I still respect her in the aspect of I don't treat her bad.
Right.
But I do stay away.
Yeah. That's another thing that I've learned is that I always bring everything back to the Bible and Jesus, because like I don't know, like it just resonates with every situation that I hear. But don't take it from me. Literally, open up your Bible. But like for example, how Jesus discipled all these people, right? Lots of people. And then he goes from discipling all these people to 12, right? 12 disciples. And then from the 12 disciples then goes down to his like 3 that he like would perform like certain miracles only in front of them. And then from those 3 it goes down to 1. And then from that 1 he still had those boundaries of being gone and being away from people without letting them know for weeks on end, and just praying by himself with our Father, right? So that goes to show that although he tells us love your neighbor, he also is showing us with his action and the way he lived is that you can love your neighbor from a distance.
Yeah, put your limits.
Yes,
I think that's
boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah. I will tell you, I might be wrong, but I think when Claudia told me that she remembered that, I kind of made a refresher. I think with the time and years, I don't want to live thinking about this on the daily basis, right?
Right.
I will say when I had my kids, my mom did care for them, and she did not treat them like she treated me. And I think that's why I can tell you that I at least have still somewhat of a relationship with her.
Right.
I am grateful to her because she did watch my kids well. I think maybe I see it as maybe she amended some of the pain that she did with me by caring, with my kids. Y los cuidaba bien.
Yeah.
My kids have nice memories of her, and she was very patient with them,
Okay.
Les enseñó muchas cosas, like arts and crafts, like cómo tejer, cocinar, like
Wow.
she was very patient with them. Lo que no hizo conmigo, I feel that she did with my kids. And I think that's one of the reasons why now I do have that distant relationship with her, but I still respect, I still have communication with her.
Right.
But that's it. Unfortunately, as much as I want to have a close relationship with my mom, I'm going to say it, but I feel like when she comes over to me, she's like an aunt. I don't feel that mom relationship with her. Okay. I don't. I remember when I was a kid, when she would always beat on me, I would never understand that. I never understood why did she want to hurt me so much that, she wanted me to feel the pain, right? And I remember yo me acuerdo, I want to tell you this funny story and I'll end with this. I remember que yo siempre decía que ella she wasn't my real mom. Because there was no way that my real mom would, want to hurt me like that.
Wow.
Y recuerdo que yo siempre decía, Diosito, por favor, que llegue mi mamá, like, que llegue mi verdadera mamá por mí. Because I would even see her and I felt like I didn't look like her. But I think it was in my mind, I wanted not to look like her, I didn't want to be her daughter. And I had that hope that she wasn't my mom y que algún día sí iba a llegar mi mamá y que me iban a dejar de pegar, right? And as time grew, as time went by, one day I saw my feet. And I saw her feet. And I remember realizing that I had my mom's feet. And I remember that I said, oh no, she is my mom. I was like, oh my God. And so I kind of, I said, okay, there goes that dream.
Wow.
So yeah, I realized she was my mom.
Which is crazy that's like, that was like your moment that you realized that, because if you really think about it, literally in the Bible, the main thing is for us to serve each other and to wash each other's feet.
Really,
and so the fact that like that was your moment to like
realize
like,
that
this is my mom. And you know what? Honestly, one thing I've learned more than anything too is the strongest thing you can do is be weak to the world and be vulnerable, and to be completely honest with you and taking all that trauma, all that pain, and still being able to be cordial with your mother and being respectful and allowing her to even be in your kid's life. That part, that takes a lot. That takes a lot. Not everybody can do that. Not anybody can do
And
that.
I will say, though, I did allow her relationship close to them because she did not treat them bad. I also did always teach them, because she still continues to be narcissistic.
Yeah.
But I've taught my kids to identify it and taught them how to have a relationship with her. It's distant too, but respectful, and they are grateful for what they, when she cared for them. But,
yeah, but like some people won't even allow them to have a relationship because they're so como se dice, like resentful. Yeah, and that's the word. You although I'm sure you went through some type of feelings, but at the end of the day, you still did what you did, where you allowed that her to have that relationship. And you know what? You allowed her to be able to make como se dice, and means like the
well, she did and she didn't. I will tell you that as an adult, she really never regretted what she did to me. Now that I'm adult and I've done a lot of things and I do for things for my kids, I remember her comment saying like, oh, like I also had kids, like, and I did everything, and I'm thinking to myself, you never shut up to my games, but I stay quiet, right? And one day, something that hurt me a lot was she said, well, thanks to what I did to you is that you are who you are now. So till the day, my mom doesn't regret anything she did to me. She really, like, in her heart, she doesn't regret it. And I kind of had to understand that, right? Like, obviously, that's why she's where she's at, and I am where I'm at. But yeah, she was. Well, let me tell you that I think I told you my story. Of all the things que no hice igual que mi mamá, desafortunadamente mi mamá sí me pasó y me heredó la gene of breast cancer. And so 2 years ago, she went through breast cancer 3 years ago. 2 years ago, I got tested, and unfortunately, it was 92% positive. So I took the decision to do a double mastectomy, right?
Yeah.
And because who she is, Les, I decided not to tell her anything.
Did she ever end up finding out?
She ended up finding out because it was tougher than what I thought. I had a few surgeries, but she never, because she only comes once a month, I was able to hide it, right?
Okay.
But when I did my double mastectomy, it was just too painful. And I was able to avoid them to not come for the first 3 months. But ya después ya no podía mentirles. And I will tell you, though, that finally this is where it's a challenge that I had to continue to just face. And but long story short, she gets there that day, and I tell them I had a button-down T-shirt because that's everything I was able to wear. I still had drains. And I remember telling him, before you settle down, I want to talk to you guys. And I remember, this is just, I think in conclusion, just so you understand where people don't change, Situation changes, and if simply I stopped giving her the control of my life, but she really never really changed, and she really never regretted what she did or has regretted. She comes in and I tell them, settle down. I want to talk to you guys. I obviously couldn't move my arms. And I didn't know how to tell them other than just unbuttoning my shirt and showing them. And my dad right away just looked at me like, hija, ¿qué te pasó? And I remember my mom telling me, te hiciste las chichis.
Oh my God. That was her first thought.
That was her first thought. And I said, no. I said I was 92% breast cancer positive, and I did a double mastectomy. And I remember my father, he started to cry. He started to cry hysterically, like he couldn't breathe. And he said, oh, I remember when you were born and you almost died.
What?
And so when I was born with an undeveloped lung.
Girl,
yeah.
your life since you were
I know.
born, literally?
Yeah. So when I was 2 weeks old, I basically passed, I died because my lung collapsed and I stopped breathing, and they resuscitated me with the shocks. So I guess my father saw that and he kind of got traumatized. So he said, I remember him telling me, I almost lost you when you were 2 weeks old, and I can't lose you now. So I want you to just see the difference between my father and my mother, right? Okay. And my mom turns around and tells me, now you're going to feel what I felt.
Girl.
And just, do you remember when she used to tell me that?
Yeah, that she wanted you to feel that.
When she would beat me. Yeah, so those were her. And so now when people ask me, why did you not tell your mom when I got a double mastectomy? That's exactly why I didn't.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Even in that situation, that was her response.
That was her response. So yeah, people don't change, but...
Mind you, that's not too long ago, right?
No, I got my double mastectomy done a year and a half ago.
Honestly?
Yeah.
All you can do is pray for her.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy. That's so crazy. Wow. Honestly, though, to be completely honest with you, you should be very proud of yourself. Very proud of yourself. Because usually women or anybody that endures that type of stuff, they end up becoming addicts. They end up going down the wrong, your life wasn't easy, but it still was it was a challenge that you took head on,
Yeah.
Challenges with left and right, but you're here. You're here now by the grace of God, by His strength, and by you doing what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe that also kind of irks her,
Yeah, there's a lot of things with maybe say, oh, if she sees that I wear something, she tells me, oh, I can wear that too. Or there's a lot of things that, like I said, I did understand. I see it, right? She continues to be narcissistic. And so eso no se quita, right? So it's
there has to be healing for her that she never was able to.
Yeah, definitely. So none of her childhood trauma, she never got therapy. And whoever she went to, girl, she was, I think, already narcissistic where she was able to manipulate the information she would give the psychologist.
It wasn't everything.
No. And I learned that actually narcissists can do that. So, yeah, she's in her world and,
Man, and that's not even that's literally only your childhood, because your rest of your life is something else.
I know. Which, like I said, I think if I would have told you first my whole crazy narcissistic relationship that I had, right?
Yeah.
I get judged a lot, and I will tell you that I've learned with life that with time that not everybody will understand, and I do get judged a lot, but I think I didn't have an easy childhood, and that's what brought me to make mistakes and accept a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to accept.
Right. But who's throwing the stones, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's exactly the same thing. It's the first one that hasn't sinned.
yeah.
Throw the first stone. And yeah, because we're already 2 hours in. Yeah, we wouldn't have gotten the rest of your life in.
Yeah,
Because it's a lot. And we
it
are going to do,
is.
God willing, a part 2 because honestly, your story is very inspirational. And this is honest. I would say your childhood and your adult life is only the first half of your life. To be completely honest with you, you have a lot
Yeah.
more, and God willing, it's what will shape you for your happy ending. I'm still praying for a man for you out there. To be honest with you, you are hardworking, and I feel like men are intimidated by you now. To be completely honest with you, but I truly feel like God is working on the one that is for you. I see it. So I thank you for sharing because
No, thank you for listening.
it takes a lot of vulnerability to do so, to actually be able to tell your story. And it's very intimate and very life changing to, man. Could you even believe everything she said? Like, isn't that crazy?
I literally was speechless.
Man, to be completely honest with you, honestly, but and also just awareness for everybody out there too.
Yeah, I mean, it's so I will tell you, I never really talked to my kids about a lot of my experiences. I waited until they were a little older. I think there's always things, you wait until they're age appropriate, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of things, I also will say, I held a lot of things because they didn't have a good relationship with my mom. And I didn't want to kind of ruin that for them. But sometimes things happen and you have to tell them, right? Because so that way they understand where do I come from with many other things. But life is not easy.
No, it's not. It's really not. But we're here and we gotta make the best out of it.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna end it here. And again, thank you so much for coming on and being so vulnerable and taking time. I know it's late and you're a busy woman. You're booked and busy. So thank you so much.
thank you, Les.
What do you say? Like, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your alarm. Wait, is it alarm?
Your reminder.
Your alerts, notifications. I'm new to this, guys. Okay, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. Primero Dios. And
I remember telling you, Les. I remember telling you, like, I know you know a lot of stories. You have to listen to all the stories.
No, the amount of stories that this chair gets, and I'm sure a lot of service providers
A lot
get
will
it,
be coming.
was just because, like, as a service provider, I think like I don't know, it just becomes more of a like, instead of like a service, it's more of a like relationship with your client. And because like honestly, you don't just share this with anybody, right? Like you're just that. And the same thing with me. I share my stories with you guys and we just go back and forth. But yes, guys, we're gonna have a part 2. Comment below. Comment for part 2. And we'll leave your socials, right? So they can get your real estate.
Yes.
And then we'll leave our socials. I finally made a TikTok and an Instagram. And we'll also post her results. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next one. Primero Dios. Bye.